Welcome back, everyone. Going into the second half here of Drop Frames. It's time to talk about video games and what we've been playing, the news. We actually haven't had a show in 2 weeks, so we got some stuff to talk about, I guess. I haven't actually played that much because I've been moving, and it turns out that takes a lot of time. I had no idea how much fucking random... I have boxes. This is how bad of a hoarder I am when it comes to boxes. I was cleaning my closet. I have 2 closets in my computer room, right? They're about 4 by 6 feet by 10 feet. These were filled with boxes. I found an iPhone 4 case. An iPhone 4 case. Why the fuck do I have that? It had headsets in it, which I promptly took out, but like, I don't know. I have to.
That's why you have any wires. That's why you have anything like that, because you're like, I might need that.
I do that a lot.
Yep.
I'm even doing that when I'm like moving right now. It's like, should I? I mean, I might need this audio cable, which does one specific thing that for one piece of hardware that I don't have anymore. But you know, I wouldn't have to buy it again if I got that hardware again. So throw it in the box.
Yep.
So,
Computer hoarding, man. It's a thing.
These right here, they're all. I actually separated them out, so I'm kind of proud of that. But that's like 6 25 quart boxes with like power, USB, Ethernet, and audio cables all sorted out. So that's what my life has been.
I've got a giant, since I play from a couch.
Yeah.
I have a giant box underneath my coffee table. That's like, the profile is low, but it's, long and wide. And it has like it's just a fucking huge mess of controllers and phones and microphones.
Got a box for that
wires.
Too? Yeah. I also, I found this. It's very important to have, as a broadcaster. It's an MLG mic thing that you put on the mic, so you have a little... I stole that from MLG, so get fucked. I also found like an $800 like HDMI to SDI converter cable for a TriCaster or converter box, which I don't...
Never know when you'll need one of those.
Yeah, it's like I don't have a TriCaster, but why would I ever use that? So that's what my life's been. I've been doing that, playing a lot of Overwatch, which we don't have to really talk about because there's not... I've just been playing ranked mode, which I guess is new, but it's not enough to spend 5 minutes on. It's a ranked mode like any other mode. Blizzard still has to do a lot of things to like make it a proper ranked mode. Like you'll log in, you'll join games, and it's just 5v6, and it doesn't backfill.
Because rounds is one game.
So it's there's 2 different. A normal game is you play both sides.
Ranked mode one time.
Yeah.
And I got in there and we were like played 2 games and we just like, it wasn't even fun. We got our ass kicked so hard.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck this. This is fucking dumb. I never want to play this again. And also because you have to play, like, how many rounds is one game?
So it's there's 2 different. A normal game is you play both sides, right? So you play like a payload map. You play offense, you play defense, and if it's 1-1, then you go to a sudden death control point map, which is a singular map. But if you load into a control point map, it's 1st to 3. And so it takes those 3 maps and shuffles them up, and you play them over and over. And you can play as many as 5 maps in that, which goes for a while. I think, no. Is it 5? Yeah, 2, then, yeah. So I really like the ranked match because finally I'm with like people that aren't just like, I'm going to play Diva this round and because I've never played her before. Let's see if it's good. And then you lose because of that, or someone that's not taking it as serious as I am. And so now I'm with like other fucking tryhards, and we're tryharding together, and I enjoy that. So I play like 7 hours of that on Monday instead of playing these other games like Dark Souls, which is perfectly fine, or Ratchet and Clank, which is apparently great, which I definitely want to play. I just haven't yet.
Dude, I think I'm going to probably be heading back into Overwatch for my evening streams. I've been trying to do culling for like this last couple weeks, but
apparently it's been buggy. Or there's a new patch that just came out today, right?
There's culling. Culling is a good example of a development team that is trying really hard. They're really trying to get out patches quickly. They're trying to listen to the community, but I think it's one of those situations where I think it's twofold. 1, it feels like there's too many cooks, and 2, it feels like they're patching so quickly that their QA process is suffering. So like for instance, what they did like about a week ago, there was a huge culling patch that basically completely redid melee. Like weapons had different speed ratings, and it was widely seen as like they ruined melee.
Wow.
But then they like less than a few days later, they patched it and it became better. And then, but when they did that, a couple new bugs got introduced. And they've been like going back and forth, and they're like fixing some things and overhauling other things, but there's been like significant bugs that have been in from the beginning that are driving people like me crazy. That they haven't even addressed yet, like the fact that you can open containers and it's completely random. Sometimes there's an item inside, or sometimes you have to stand in front of it for 10 seconds and then it will just pop into existence. And it's like, this is a huge issue in a game where seconds matter when you're looting buildings.
I wonder, like, to me, that sounds like when they first launched, it was like a polished build, right? Like, that's a build that they worked on for a long time. And they're like, all right, we're going, because it's still early access, right? Yeah, so they're like, let's launch early access. And now they're in that phase where they're like you said, they're throwing shit at a wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah. That's kind of what it feels like. It feels like we're the QA team. Instead of there being a QA team between them and the early access crew, like we're the QA. Like for instance, another huge bug that was introduced since then is now items, people just won't drop items when you kill them sometimes, or items will fall through the floor, or sometimes they'll fall on the ground and you can highlight and look at them, but you can't actually pick them up. And it's like, this is all stuff that I didn't remember in the tournament when we played. Yeah. So like, it's kind of like, I think culling is going to be fun, and it's still fun. I mean, I was playing it like last night or the day before, but for it to really be something really special, like I think it needs more time to cook. And I honestly feel like the devs need to slow down a little bit. Yeah. I think people would appreciate like real patches that have fixes and improvements, instead of when patches come out, we have to
breaking
go, okay,
stuff.
Are there any bugs this patch? Like, like you have to look at it kind of a little bit and go, what's going to be broken this patch? Gotcha. So I don't know. But that being said, it makes me miss the kind of rock solidness of Overwatch.
I will say
Overwatch has its problems and shit, but it's Blizzard games. So
the balance of Overwatch is reaching close to like almost perfect. Like they do such like subtle tweaks that you're like, well, 0.2 seconds isn't going to fucking change anything on McCree's flashbang. Like, that's not going to do anything at all. And then you play the game and you're like, wow, that's actually like a huge fucking, like, that's a significant change. Or like, they patched last night and Roadhog's ult doesn't slow you down anymore. Or doesn't slow you down as much anymore. And you're like, whoa, that's actually like kind of massive. Like, I can actually like be a little bit more aggressive with that now. And it really does, the things that they're putting in the game is... It feels like, one, they're listening to the community, and two, they're listening to the good side of the community, the people that actually like play the game at a level that makes sense for these changes to be beneficial to the game, rather than just being like a change for casual play, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like it affects the entire game in a good way, rather than just affecting the casual play in a good way, which is really cool to see. The other thing too is that there's a big it's like a test weekend this weekend for Overwatch, so more people will be playing it than usual, and I really just want to get in there and play against bad people just to have a really good time. So I'll probably be doing that as well, but we've been playing a lot of ranked. I'm up to Advanced 3, which is, I don't know all the names of the ranked. It's Challenger, Advanced, something, and then Heroic. And it takes a while to there's no placement matches. So you start at Challenger 1 in ELO Hell with all the other like people starting at Challenger 1 that may or may not be good or understand the game at like the most basic levels. And you have to like climb your way out, which I don't, I'd rather have placement matches.
Real quick, I like the idea of ranked. That's pretty cool. But do they actually have like fully functional stat tracking?
In what sense?
Like, could I see how many kills I have with Tracer and how many times I've died with Lucio?
Yes, you can go to the career stats and see all that now.
Oh, cool.
They've reset it a bunch. Like I think every major patch they've done, they've reset the stats. But like, I can go in and look at McCree and like, how many times have I died with McCree, or what's my hit percentage with McCree, or what's my biggest multi-kill, what's my highest elimination, stuff like that, which is cool. Like, that stuff needs to be there. But yeah, turns out Overwatch is still a pretty good game. And it still makes me this, it's still like the perfect Blizzard quintessential. You're going to get really salty when you play this game. But then it goes, the gameplay loop is such a Blizzard way in terms of being good that like, You're salty, then you respawn and it goes away because you're playing the game again. And then you die again and you're like, fucking, and then you click again and then you're back. Like, it goes away so quick.
Do you know if with this big push that you were talking about coming up in the weekend, are they going to be letting more people in?
Yeah, I think it's like another beta test weekend that they did prior.
Cool.
So a lot of people will be in. And then May 3rd or May 2nd, it opens up to anyone that pre-ordered. And then I think May 5th is open beta.
Great.
And then the game comes out on the 26th. So
That's one of the reasons I stopped playing Overwatch is because it was only watch. Like I have the most fun playing those types of games if I can play them with the community. It's why I played Rainbow Six for so long.
Right.
So it'll be cool. It'll be interesting to see if the reception on Twitch increases or decreases when everyone's able to play the game.
That's what I'm most interested. I was talking with me and Lyric have been playing a lot. And I was talking with him about that. Like, do you think this viewership is going to spike up again? Because right now it's like I top the game with like 20 or 2,000 viewers every night, and that's it. Like, there's no competition. Like, second place
like 28 one time.
I mean, it spikes like 2 to 3K. But like the second place is like 800 viewers. There's really no competition for it in terms of viewership at night. In the morning, you have like Siegel, who gets like 4 to 5K because he's like a pro level at that. So he's obviously much better than anyone else streaming in. And Steel does it as well. And Stir, they average about 1,500. Stir does around like 2,500 to 3K. But yeah, I don't know if that, like you said, is the viewership going to really do well when that game actually launches, when everyone else can play it? Because one of the like most common chat conversations besides why is this guy so salty is this is like why this sucks. I can't play this game, so I don't want to watch it. Like, it just makes me frustrated that I can't play this shit yet. So we'll see. But they're still patching it. They patched it last night or maybe 2 nights ago with some pretty big changes, and it seems like they're still going the right way. And there's more legendary skins than ever now. I think they said they're going to try to launch with 4 legendary skins for every hero. They've gotten pretty close. They've gotten pretty close for it. So, aside from Overwatch, the other game that I've actually been playing is 2 weeks ago they did this Final Fantasy 15 thing on a Wednesday, and I've been playing Final Fantasy 12, but not in. I'm playing Final Fantasy 12 on a special PS2, if you get what I'm saying. So I've been having a lot of fun with it. Turns out that game's like almost hitting my my MMO thirst, because it's kind of like an MMO if you've ever played that before.
I need another MMO, man.
Yeah, dude,
I'm like a junkie without his fix. I seriously, it's been driving me crazy.
Every time me and Lyric play Overwatch, we're just like, did you reinstall WoW? Did you hit that? Did you play a little bit? I'm like, nah, not yet. And so we haven't done yet. We're waiting for Legion though. I think everyone's going to jump in on Legion for sure.
Then there's people like me that don't play WoW, so it's kind of.
You've never really enjoyed WoW, have you? Yeah.
It's not for me, man. WoW is not for me. I can't shake that Saturday morning cartoony vibe, and that just kind of kills it for me. I'm an old EQ guy, so
yeah.
And people are saying Black Desert. Black Desert is
I'm not
cool.
into it, man.
It has a lot of fun features, but there's just not enough new stuff in Black Desert for me. Same for Blade and Soul. That one didn't. The big ones for me are Crowfall, Camelot Unchained, and Hero's Song, which I just got an update today about Hero's Song. All the foundational mechanics and stuff are done. They're starting like the production part of it now, so hopefully we'll have some really fun stuff to talk about then coming out soon. But yeah, for me, man, I've played MMOs for going on almost 2 decades of my life. I've done,
same.
And I've done so many. I led a guild for 10 years in 9 different MMOs. So for me, I can't do like the same thing. Like, I can't get invested in that. I need something interesting and new. And
sure.
I'm just going to push the genre forward. And
yeah. I guess while we're
really
talking,
hoping it's one of those 3 things.
For sure. I guess while we're talking about MMOs, the Nostalrius server. Did you guys hear about this last week? How Blizzard shut that down?
I heard a lot of unhappy folks.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Nostalrius was a vanilla server that someone had made. They weren't charging for access or anything like that. You could sign up for free. They had 800,000 registered accounts, 150 people playing, like active players, and I think at any time it was like 15,000 logged in, which we never really knew numbers for original servers, at least I didn't, but like that's a fuck ton of people on a singular server. And Blizzard sent a cease and desist basically and said you need to take the server down, and so they had to. But the amount of outcry from that is pretty phenomenal. Like John Cron. Now I can't remember him. John Tron, there you go. Did a video on it on his YouTube, and that got a ton of people interested about it. That's where I really learned about what was going on. There's a petition right now that had, at least when I saw it 2 or 3 nights ago, had 69,000 signatures on it for something they're going to send to Mike Morhaime saying please give our server back or do vanilla only servers or something like that. So it was kind of a big deal, and a lot of people were pretty upset with Blizzard and still are upset with Blizzard for shutting down something that, it's kind of like the golden days of World of Warcraft for a lot of people with vanilla World of Warcraft. So
yeah, I mean, dude, my best MMO experience in the last couple years was going back to EverQuest 1 with a bunch of people from my community. LO came and played, and we opened up a guild in EQ1 on the progression server. I liked it too much.
That's right. I remember that. I remember you guys had to quit.
This was back when I was doing my Witcher 3 100%, and I got to a point in Witcher 3 where all I was doing was map cleanup. So I'd turn on my stream, I'd stream for 3 hours in the morning, and then I would jump off and play EQ for 8 hours straight. And I did that for a month last year. And it got to the point where I was sitting here going, dude, I have to stop playing this. My stream is suffering. I have to So that was that super unfortunate position though, where it's I absolutely loved playing the game, but it had zero presence on Twitch. It had people. If you didn't play an old game like that, you drop in, you see it, and it's just not for me. It's unwatch. I hate saying it. It's basically unwatchable if you don't know what you're watching.
Right. It's just it looks like hieroglyphics for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm really looking forward to these new ones coming out. I think they're gonna have a lot of hype behind them. Some of them are bringing back those age-old mechanics, tried and true, that just other games are scared to copy these days,
right? Because
they're not the most popular thing anymore. So.
This was from the final minutes of that Nostalrius server, and I haven't seen. Granted, I haven't played in probably 2 years, but even when I was playing back then, I haven't seen this many people in a singular place in World of Warcraft in a very, very, very long time. That's a shit ton of fucking people logged in right there in one singular area. Which,
I wonder how many people there are in front of their computers just being super emotional. That's a giant just hug.
And the other thing too is the other thing too is it wasn't people raided on the servers. There was guilds that had communities and shit on the server. It wasn't just a free shard that people logged in and then just dicked around. It was a proper World of Warcraft server that had an entire community and had drama and all that shit around it. And Blizzard's well, you're not going to have this anymore. We're sorry, folks. And in some cases, I understand why Blizzard as a company has to do that to protect their IP and all that stuff. But
they have to, man.
At other times, it's fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that it lasted as long as it did was amazing. That was, a flash in the pan kind of thing. They could have shut that down the day it went up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They probably let it go as long as they could. And then it got 800,000 registered accounts that's a huge chunk. That's a lot of fucking people. So they probably just had to be we can't.
All it takes is one guy in a boardroom with a calculator to be and this is how much potential money we're losing.
Yeah.
And a bunch of guys that don't even play the game are oh, shut it down, Frank.
Yeah.
Turn it off.
Yeah. The suits at Activision were we need this to go away immediately. So.
Well, I just imagine the guy who what's his name, Walter Peck in Ghostbusters. Who goes down to the thing and shuts it down? Is shut it down now.
Yeah. And there was no Bill Murray there to argue him, man.
Come out and be fuck you.
Yeah. There was no Murray there to argue against him, which is sad. So that happened while we were away. A little bit about the Final Fantasy 15 event happened 2 Wednesdays ago. It's a little bit old news now, but Square's doing.
Do me a favor, JP. Do this part no one has seen any of it. Because I missed all of it. What did you think?
Square's. Well, first off, let's talk about the pregame show at that thing. Which, if you want to see, I don't even know how to present. It was an hour of just the oddest thing I've ever seen a company of that size do. It was.
Are we talking bad or good?
In the worst way possible. The community. It was a bunch of community managers, and they were running it from a computer, and the stream started, and you saw the little VLC logo in the top right, and they hit play on a VLC video, and then like the little VLC bar at the bottom popped up on stream, and it started like playing it, and then the video ended, and like the video, you know how when a VLC video ends, it like shrinks to the normal size and goes away, and then it was just a desktop, and then they cut to a camera, and it's like 5 people there, and they're kind of like talking over each other, and one of the guys is like talking, and he says like, oh, and let's throw to this clip, and then the girl next to him is just like, yeah, so anyways, we're gonna go ahead and bring on, and the guy's like staring at her, and he's like, we're gonna throw to that clip. And she's just like, oh yeah, right, okay, let's throw to that clip. And then the clip starts as she's talking, and I'm just like, I'm like freaking out the entire time. They bring on these cosplayers, and they're like, where are you, what are you wearing? And they're like, oh, well, I'm Noctis in Final Fantasy 15. Oh, that's fantastic. And the other guy in the back is just kind of like sitting there with his mic looking bored, and the camera has like this giant lens flare because it's facing the sun, and you can't see like the top left hand corner of the. It was just a fucking mess. It was just the biggest mess I've ever seen, and it was so funny to watch. It was really hilarious to watch. Like, you could tell that they were really trying, but they
Is there
had.
someplace we can look at it?
I mean, I can probably. Square Enix will claim. I'm sure they're going to claim this on YouTube if I bring.
Is it on YouTube or something?
It was streamed on Twitch. It's Square Enix, I think. I could probably pull it up and show that. I would think Square Enix might just take it though.
So
it was.
I got
the pregame was fucking bizarre.
What about the game? And help me out here, because I'm really confused. Like, the Final Fantasy 15 demo came out, and I was really excited. I was like, cool, we get to see a little glimpse of it. So I tune in to someone who's playing it that morning. It was a dude named Retro Gungeon. Really cool stream.
Yeah,
part of the menu. Great dude. So I'm watching him play this demo.
Yeah.
And he's playing this really young kid.
Yep.
With this telepathic fox thing.
Carbuncle.
He's using literally a squeaky hammer.
He's got the toy hammer, yeah.
And something else. And I'm sitting here just like shaking my head, and I'm watching this for like 5 or 10 minutes, and even he's like, yeah, I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, this is so like he had just come from Dark Souls, so he's sitting here like, I think I might go play Dark Souls again.
I played it right after the event.
So is that Final Fantasy 15? Someone later told me it's just a tech demo and has nothing to do with the game.
It has, that will not be in the game. It has nothing to do with the game. It has characters and things from the game. You're basically playing. This is from the pregame show, by the way. This is the guy that made. You can buy these outfits for these 2 characters, and the guy in the leopard print coat, who's the best dressed person on the show, made this stuff. So it's fucking. And he talks like a fashion designer. It's hilarious. But the demo that they put out is like, you're playing as Noctis, who's the main character, and you're playing as like a kid Noctis, and Carbuncle is like this like crystal that your dad gave to you or something, and apparently he's a summon in the game that you can only unlock by playing this, and you can name him at the end. So I named him like Dickface or some stupid shit.
Hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt, but Jesus, is the fucking cameraman asleep?
I told you, that's what I'm saying, man. It was
it's like we've got nuclear winter going off in the background here.
It's fucking hilarious, dude.
The sun is 3 inches from the earth.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen from a company of this size, 100%. But back to the demo.
Worse. Look at it, it's getting worse.
Yeah. Back to the demo. It
fucking camera.
It had some combat in it. It had a lot of things where, like, step on this plate and it'll turn from night to day and drop your FPS to like sub 20, and then it'll go back. It just felt weird. Like, I was kind of excited for the demo. I played it and I was like, well, I mean, it looks good when it's not moving, and then you move and it's kind of like a console, like 25 FPS type deal. And they said that they're still working on the FPS and stuff like that. But yeah, the demo was, if you rush the demo, you could beat it in 10 minutes. Wow. It took me an hour-ish to probably like see it all.
So 15 is out in.
So 15,
August?
that was the other thing that they announced at this thing that got leaked the same day, about 10 hours earlier by GameSpot, because that was the big thing that they were showing here was the release date, and then the actual uncovered thing, like they did this weird thing. They had Greg Miller hosting it from Kind of Funny Games, and I forget the other guy's name, Tim something or other, I think, and it's like, all right, we're gonna show you 14 things today. and like the final thing, they had like this red button. It's like, don't push that button. You're going to show the release date and we'll get fired. We'll lose our money. Like, don't push that button. And that was like a reoccurring joke. When everyone knew the fucking release date. And the crowd was like trying to act like they didn't know the release date. But it comes out September, whatever the same day as TwitchCon. Comes out the Friday at TwitchCon.
Oh.
So we're all going to be at TwitchCon.
Yeah.
when it comes out.
Now, is that before or after the new higher resource PS4 upgrade thing?
No one knows. We'll probably learn more about that at E3, but that's still a story. Okay. Like you all laughed at that. The Kotaku wrote that. It's actually a thing. Like that is
a higher dude. I think it will. Now that I've had to play Dark Souls 3 on an Xbox One and a PC, I can tell you that, dude, I will pay any amount of money to make my console 60 FPS. Like it's such a difference.
Same.
So more power to Sony for doing that kind of thing. And hopefully consoles moving forward will be that way. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's a weird thing for sure. The other thing is they're doing another full movie. Square's making a Final Fantasy 15 movie called
like Advent Children?
Yeah. And it's got a crazy fucking voice actor list. Sean Beam, the what's her name? The girl from Game of Thrones that was the shame, not the nun, but the girl that was walking nude. Whatever her name is, something Headley.
The Queen. Yeah,
Nina Headley?
Nina Headley.
Yeah. She's in there as a voice actress. Aaron Paul, Jesse from Breaking Bad is in there as a voice actor. And I think he's like the main character or something like that.
No.
But it's like a 2 or 2.5 hour full movie that's coming out before the game ships.
Is it for 15?
Yeah, it takes place before the game. It tells the story of like his dad, or maybe it takes place at the same time as the game, but it's his dad's perspective or something like that. Who is Sean Beam? Sean Beam is playing the king, so you know he's gonna die. Like he just has to. There's no way. There's no way for him to live through that.
There wasn't anything about the 7 remake, was there?
No, this was only Final Fantasy 15.
Just 15.
Yeah. And then they're doing an anime. And you can already watch part 1 of the anime based on the 4 kids. It's called Brotherhood, I think, or something like that. And I don't think part 2 is out yet, but you can go watch part 1. It's like 8 minutes long on YouTube. It? Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like I learned about the characters, which was cool. Like that was interesting. Nice. But yeah, just a bunch of fucking shit coming out of that. I ended up getting one of the. They had collector's editions. They only had 30,000 of them, and I ended up getting one, so I felt pretty proud about that. But it's also awesome. It was like $280. So it's like, why the fuck did I buy this? So I guess I'll be getting one of those while I'm at TwitchCon, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, that was just a weird, like from start to finish, just a weird event. The other thing they did is they brought Sakaguchi, Sakaguchi, like the creator of Final Fantasy, and he was like the first guy out on the thing, and he's like, he has no relationship with this, like he's not working on the game at all, and he's like, yeah, I've talked to Tanaka, and he said that we're gonna bring it back to Final Fantasy roots, and that's why I'm here, is to tell you that. So please buy the game. He didn't say that verbatim, but that was the entire reason he was there, is to like let Final Fantasy fans know that he's seen what is being worked on and he's happy that it's there and it's not Final Fantasy 13 again. So then they brought out Amano, Yoshitaka Amano, who's the artist who does like all the fucking crazy Final Fantasy art, and he like drew something that had like all of the summons, I guess, in the game, and then they like animated that for this weird video that I don't even know if they put out yet. But that was one of the things that they talked about. It's got like some mobile game, of course, coming out because people in Japan love mobile games. So that's a thing. It's like the mini game within Final Fantasy 15. So I don't know. It was a weird event. It was a Square Enix ass event for Final Fantasy 15, which for a game that's been worked on for 10 years, like I hope that game's good, but everything that has been worked on for 10 years just goes through so many people working on it that it's ass. It's just trash.
Dude, so. I'm planning a very serious run of Final Fantasy 15, like entertaining a near 100%. And I know that's dangerous when talking about a JRPG, but I'm really hoping it'll like re-inspire my faith in JRPGs.
Same
it's
here.
Been shaken with the last few.
Well, you got a lot of games.
Like the icing on that shit cake.
You'll have a lot of games leading up to that. You'll have, I think, Actually, I think Berseria comes out later in the year for English, which is the new Tales game. You'll have Star Ocean Integrity and Faithfulness, which comes out this summer on the PS4, which is Star Ocean 5.
It's like buzzwords.
Yeah. I can't believe they called it Star
Integrity
Ocean
and Faithfulness.
Integrity and Faithfulness. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. And then Persona.
Pugnacious.
Yeah, Persona 5 will come out. Also, did you ever play Ni no Kuni Ko?
No.
Ni no Kuni is like, that was my, I don't know if I gave it like my game of the year, but it was top 3 for me when it came out. It's a really, really, really good game.
That's a fantasy JRPG though, right?
Yeah, I guess you would call it like fantasy. Yeah.
I'm a big fan of like the more sci-fi-ish ones.
Yeah, it's not
like
sci-fi
for instance,
at
that's
all.
why Final Fantasy VII topped it for me. Like I want them to make like a seriously amazing Ghost in the Shell JRPG. Like take the Final Fantasy mechanics, the world of something like Ghost in the Shell, and just jam them together into some kind of beautiful baby.
I guess
I for some reason like the Tales games.
Yeah.
The Ni no Kuni, like I can't.
I guess what I'll pitch at you is, do you like the Studio Ghibli movie or Ghibli movie?
Yes.
So Ni no Kuni is made by Studio Ghibli.
Okay, that's awesome.
So the art style is all the same as like all their movies, and it looks really fucking good, and the voice acting is really good as well.
Now, is it really long?
It is, yeah. It's I think I had like a 40 to 60 hour playthrough of it.
Okay.
It's a pretty long game for sure, and it also, you have to like, the main character is a little kid. Most of the characters in the game are kids. There's a couple of adults. There's like a rat king.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that type of fantasy.
That's the same way. Like I feel the same way about my games as I do anime. Like when I'm going through Crunchyroll or Netflix. Like if you start up the episode and there's a high school and teens at the very beginning, it's just like, okay.
Yep.
Next.
No, if my video game is gonna have a kid as the main character, he better be a silent protagonist. That's all I'm saying. Like I'll play Link all day. That's great. I'll play him. He's a kid, you know. He's got a sword and stuff. He never says a word. He goes hat, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Great.
Speaking of Zelda, just while we're talking about new stuff, and then we'll start talking about Dark Souls or however much you guys want to talk about that. There were rumors flying around from someone that I don't think they have too much credibility, but a lot of people are talking about this. Apparently in the new Zelda game, you're going to be able to choose if you want to play a male or female Link. And everyone will be voice acted except for the main character. So it's like kind of a different change of pace for Zelda games, if that's actually true.
No, male or female, will Link have a different name?
I don't know.
Link is kind of androgynous. I think a female could get away with Link.
He is a fairy. I mean, like, I'm not saying this because it sounds, but it's in the game. It's like he's a fairy boy.
Yeah.
He's like the child of fairies.
Yeah, for sure. So,
and they're
that was the thing.
Androgynous for sure.
Yeah.
And with Nintendo's graphics, it's like longer hair and 2 bumps. Female.
Yeah.
Like it's like what? That's all they have to do.
No, it's like one like little tilt of the eyes. It's like male, female.
Yeah. The other bit of news, or the other bit of that rumor, was that they're going to do what they did with Twilight Princess and release it on the Wii U and on the NX, which is the new Windows consoles, or the new Nintendo console. So they're going to kind of do the split platform thing for it. So
Linkette. I like that. Linkle.
Yeah, Linkle. Don't name it Linkle. All
sorts of great names.
Don't name it Link. Wasn't there already Tinkle or Tingle?
Tingle.
Fucking Tingle. Yeah, what a piece of shit that guy was. But yeah, there's a lot of rumors going around right now because E3 is 2 months away, which, Jesus. Anyways, how much Dark Souls 3? It's out. Everyone can play it now. Finally, 3 weeks later. What do you guys? I've already been in. I kind of talked it to death past shows. So, what do you guys want to spend in terms of talking about it? What do you want to?
I gotta say, man, having done multiple starting playthroughs and then a full playthrough on the Xbox, the difference with, like I said earlier, the difference between 30 and 60 FPS, it's never been more meaningful.
You're noticing it?
I'm not only noticing it, it is completely changed the experience.
Yeah.
Like there were times in Dark Souls on the Xbox One when I would get to an area and I would be like, wow, these graphics are awesome. And then I'd start painting around and the frame rate would drop because there's so much rendering. And it's just like, but it's pretty, you know.
Right.
And then you get there on the PC and it's just 60% fluid.
PC
as you're
seems
painting
to
around
play.
and the graphics are better and they're all higher and you're just sitting there like,
It's like in the Wizard of Oz when they open the door to Oz and it's all color.
Yes, basically,
Like,
it's like
black and white, and then you're like
Yeah.
PC.
I'm playing the exact same game, but it feels like I'm playing a different game, a better game. I mean, the controls are better. The same boss fights, like they're I don't want to say they're easier because, well, especially with the build I'm doing now, it's ridiculous. But it all feels different. It all feels different, and it feels great. Like, people have been asking me which one I recommend, and I emphatically recommend PC over console for this game.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
But yeah, I said 60% fluid. Yeah, whatever. That's just how it is. But yeah, no, it's been awesome. Yeah. I've been doing a build right now where I can't use embers. I'm vigor capped. I can't wear chest, leg, or helm armor. I have to use one-handed spears and shields, and like, I've got all these other crazy things. But man, it has been tough. Playing Dark Souls without armor is tough.
Yeah,
Like, a lot harder than I expected.
for sure. The game's already pretty difficult, obviously, but putting restrictions on the, honestly, I would think to make it, for me, I'll eventually do another playthrough on PC. I've been watching a lot of streams. It's like, I should probably start a second game. Like, I'm kind of interested in doing that, but I'll probably put some restrictions on myself so it's actually more difficult, because
it's a lot of fun having your community come up with your build. Like, the creativity it goes absolutely nuts. Like,
I did have a really,
pick
like,
one of your
easy time with
mods,
that game.
be like, come up with an awesome build, like, have him poll the community and stuff. And like, I've been doing that with Red, and he's now King Red. He dictates the playthrough basically.
Yeah.
And so anytime we have questions about the rules or stuff, like he in this build, I have to get 2 items, this one helm and this one shield, and those are Zeus's gifts. And until I get Zeus's gifts, I can't use embers. I can't do any of this other stuff. But like, he gave me a quest halfway through it where I had to go to the swamp and I had to drop all of my embers, and King Zeus would bless me with faith magic at that point. So like, now I can do heals and cures and stuff. And it's been awesome.
Nice.
But yeah, again, some of those bosses, dude, when you're not wearing armor and you're vigor capped and you're not embered,
well, you probably just get one shit.
Like 90% of your health is gone in one hit. And it's just like, I'm already bad at this game. Come on.
Yeah. No, I got you. Well,
one thing I'll say, man, PvP is better. There's still latency, but I've been invaded numerous times. I actually have a character that I'm like PvPing with, like a strength vigor build warrior, and it's definitely a little bit tighter, and it's really fun. Like,
I was watching
very live community right now.
I was watching Strippin doing a lot of the PvP 2 days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, and he would remember Zeke, when you were showing the spamfish thing where he would like walk around like a statue.
Yep, the chess piece. Yeah,
that was still happening to Strippin like pretty much every time he got summoned.
Yep.
Like, he would, and it was even happening to the mobs as well. So, you know those giant crabs in the like forest swamp area?
Yep.
Like, those giant crabs were just like skating without moving across the water, and then they would like, you wouldn't see their giant like pincer slam down, but you'd see like one of the guys just like slide away and take a huge chunk of their HP, and Strippin was like, "What the fuck is going on in this?" He didn't understand any of it. I was just laughing. But he's playing a bow build, which if I played, I'd probably play a bow build, which would be a lot of fun.
It's like a dual wield bow thing.
Yeah, which honestly, the bows were pretty broken. I felt they were really strong when I played. He's got, I think, like a plus, at least when I was watching, like a +5 short bow.
Oh, is this where I get eaten? Oh, no.
Also, why did that mimic spawn when you didn't even go near it?
Dude, okay, that was some bullshit. So basically, that fire guy down there, he breathes up fire and it wraps around the top.
Did it attack him?
I ran over where the mimic was, and the fire dude triggered the mimic.
That's pretty bullshit.
I'm sitting here fighting the fire dude, everything's fine, and then this gangly ass mimic charges in and starts kicking my ass too. Oh my lord.
That's pretty bullshit.
I'm glad the audio isn't on right now because I got pretty salty about that.
That mimic drops the Chaos Blade, where if I wanted to really use that in my playthrough. Or the Black Blade. In the Japanese version, I think it was... No, it was Black Blade. You're right. The Chaos Blade's later on, I guess.
Yep.
But yeah, I wanted to use those. But I don't know if I'll ever get back there on my Dex build, so... We'll see. Zeke, you were doing a different type of playthrough where... Well, I mean, why don't you explain it?
Yeah. Dark Souls 3 has saturated the market, and everyone knows that, and everyone's prepared for it and stuff like that.
Sure.
So I was like, what can I do to make it fun for people to watch my dumb stream? So I just came up with the pick it up and play with it challenge, which means no matter what, if I have to loot anything that I can see on the ground, And once I loot it, if it's a piece of equipment, a ring, an item, anything like that, I have to equip it. I absolutely must equip it. Now you see me running. I did this run to this boss. It's only the second boss. I did this run to this boss for 3 hours because I could not use my Lucerne hammer because I didn't have the strength stats. But I could use my shield two-handed as a weapon. So
It's a thing. Didn't even know that.
Yep. I spent 3 hours on this boss trying to kill him with
a shield.
Two-handed shield. And you're right. If it was this boss would be stupid, crazy easy for a strength build.
Yeah.
With a proper weapon.
Yeah. You just tug him.
Because I was in like the first phase. I barely ever got hit. The second phase was a bitch. Was an utter total bitch. Because there's like AoE shit that like he would get you with, shit that you didn't think, like, oh, he got me with his thigh or his shin that time.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But
did you end up killing him?
I did.
With shield only? Nice.
I did, yeah. I killed him with the shield.
And then
only.
you got to use his weapon, right? Did you get his weapon next?
No.
Oh, that's shit. Okay, never mind. Sorry. I forgot you have to do other stuff for that.
You gotta do the tree first.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kept like with my smashing plate. That's what I
Wait
did.
a second. This build you're doing,
Yeah.
you have to use items and weapons even if you can't equip them?
Yep. No, you can equip them.
You can two-hand most stuff if you don't have the
Yeah, but
stats
I mean,
for it.
like, if you would have two-handed Lucerne, I think earlier you said
Requires
like 10
dexterity.
damage or something. Like, it doesn't even... If you're using a weapon that you don't have requirements for, it's like a 1/10 of the damage, if even.
Yeah.
The Lucerne hammer did 12 damage. My double shield is doing 32, I think, per 32 or 28 per.
21 per on the boss, yeah.
That's
21,
so rough,
26.
man.
Yeah, depending on strong or light attack.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, and it sucks because I pick up a weapon. I was like, I looted a body and I got the hardened club or whatever it's called. I was like, oh, thank God. 2 seconds later, I pick up another weapon. It's like a fucking is it like the priest's chime? So I'm sitting. I can't roll any spells. I can't use it. You need like 14 or whatever faith to even use a spell. So I'm back to using the shield again, like the bash shit, until I find another right-handed weapon. And there was a time where on my left hand I had the tower shield, and on my right hand I had the golden eagle shield. I was dual wielding shields.
Yeah. Let me
was
see if I can
great.
find that. Oh, you're still fighting him here at this point.
3 hours, man. It took me a long time.
So you're gonna finish the game with this.
What's that?
You're gonna finish the game with this build.
I don't know.
I was gonna say, dude, like that's Boshy level stuff right there.
There it is.
Like, that's-
Dual wielding the shield.
Building the shields.
Like tank, turn. I'm just hitting him with the golden eagle or golden falcon. Just pap, pap, pap.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
but
good fun.
just keep bashing them with it. Now, the reason why I don't know if I can finish with it because, you pick up armor that you can't, like, strength-wise, encumbrance-wise,
Right.
that you can't move, like, you can't move with. Like, you're fat rolling and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
But oh, and also the other stipulation of this little thing was I started off as I always say deprived, and I'm going all the way down the line and back up for leveling up. So it's 1 1 1 1 1 1.
Sure.
1 1 1 1. So yeah, I'm not even assigning like
That's like double hard mode.
Yeah, that's double hard mode.
It
If
was-
you were pumping it all into vigor, then I would understand.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, oh my god, man, you must hate yourself or something. I don't even. That's
Well, I wanted to make it fun, funny. Like, I think I got some humor out of this. Like a guy walking around with 2 shields.
you
Like,
did
Yeah.
beat a boss with a shield. I mean, that's pretty
That's
freaking.
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
And you probably would have never done that without this build. So
Yeah.
pretty
This.
awesome.
well, here's what
Fuck,
I
I wanna
just did.
play.
I got like a stone shield, like a stone circular shield or something like that, and the
Parge
huge,
or Parma or
the-
something like that.
yeah, Parma, the stone Parma, and I got the huge like double-handed, like huge greatsword thing.
Yeah.
And in order, I can't even two-hand it.
Oh, because you don't have the strength.
Because if I double hand it, I get up to 36 or 26. It needs 28.
Yeah.
So I need 14 in strength. So like my plan is to like farm souls until I get to 14 strength, so I can use this thing. But if an enemy drops a right hand weapon, that I sell the other weapon. I sell the.
Oh, you're selling them, so you can't even go back. Okay.
Yep, selling them, and I've sold like all kinds of awesome. Like there's that frost sword or whatever. I sold that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
dude, I've seen a lot of people use that frost sword in their playthrough. That's a really popular weapon. Is
incredible.
Yeah, I skipped over. I feel like I kind of not cheapened, but I want to go back and play the game because using that fucking giant axe from the very first zone all the way till the end is like, it's not.
Dude, it's arguably the best weapon in the game.
Yeah, it really. I think the butcher sword at +10 is better. The HP life or the HP steel sword on activation at the end game, but like. That fucking giant axe. I had a lot of people tweet me that had watched that stream. They're like, dude, I got this giant axe, and this game's like this game's pretty easy. And it's like, yeah, you're doing 400 a hit at like level 30. Like, of course it's easy. You do so much fucking damage. You can just like 4-shot the Crystal Mage boss. Dude, it's not a problem.
That exact thing is the same with the bandit axe, I think, or the brigand's axe. The one I was using.
Yeah.
Like, it's a hugely heavy hitting axe that you can do really fast, and it almost always throws the enemy off guard.
Yeah.
So like just today, before the show, I was playing my warrior, just kind of running around, and there were these mobs that I was playing on against my spear guy. There were like, fights where I'm dodging and doing all this stuff. With my axe guy, I just run up to him as an R1 hero. My first hit staggers him. He's two more hits dead before he even recovers, and it's like you can walk through the game.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much of a difference it can make. It's absolutely crazy.
I would have beaten the game, I think, under 50 deaths for the first playthrough if I didn't die 60 times to the fucking Nameless King.
Oh, yeah, I ended up with 48 deaths to him on Xbox One.
Yeah. And the thing that fucked it... Did
you get the frame rate issues?
I got all the issues on that boss. Okay. That boss gave me all sorts of... Like, I first had to, like, learn, like, this fucking camera is so god fucking awful. I can't see what I'm... He's above me. Something's the flame's coming down, and it's going to be a double hit this time because I'm in the right fucking spot. And so I would like always just be like, well, that's a death. And I just died in like 2 seconds to the boss. And that's why I had like 60 deaths on that. Before I got to him, I had 40. Like I had 43 deaths before I even fucking saw that boss, and I died to him 60 times. He's my favorite boss in probably all the Souls games in terms of appearance and look and style and everything. But he's just a fucking annoyance to fight. Like, they should have tuned him a little bit. Or just let you fight the second phase of him as the entire boss, because that phase actually is pretty hard.
It would have been interesting to have him as two different bosses, like on the dragon earlier in the level, and then he like gets knocked off and like runs somewhere, and then you fight him on the ground the second level. Yeah. For me, man, on the Xbox One, the first phase was relatively easy. I mean, it was pretty difficult, but I'd beat it like 2 out of 3 times. But that second phase, dude, he had so much dust and shit swirling around him that it literally slowed the whole game down. So like my button input was never when I needed it. So I'd be sitting there like dodging too early or not even dodging enough.
But the other thing too,
a mess.
When you're I don't know if this is 100% true when you trigger this stuff, but when you're low FPS, your button commands queue. I think that's how they actually get by having low FPS in the game, is by letting your commands queue. And 20 of those deaths were because of, instead of 2 times attacking, it swung an extra 3rd time, and then I would get hit because of that. And my giant hammer has such a fucking recovery time that I'd go like that, and then I'd just get hit. And it's because I was just like spamming R1 to try to get the attacks in. And so the button, by the way, for those
in chat, we're not spoiling any fights. We're just talking about mechanics and stuff.
Yeah.
No, Zeke hasn't gotten to this stuff. We're not.
Yeah, we're not spoiling anything. But like, that's the other. Has that happened at all at 60 FPS? Are you seeing any of the button cues?
No, I haven't gotten a single. That's what the night and day difference kind of stuff is. Like on the PC, I haven't gotten any. Oh, they fixed the frame rate in the swamp.
I saw that. I loaded in my character and saw that. Yeah.
I will say this: there's a weird new frame rate drop.
Really?
Whenever you pick up items or pick up souls, or recover your own soul, there's this weird kind of like a little pause for a second. I don't know if you've been getting that too, Zeke. And keep in mind, I have all my graphics maxed. I heard there's a crashing bug if you keep your lighting all the way up. Mine's been up all the way. I haven't crashed once.
There was a lot of issues with people crashing when they would go up to the first bonfire on day one. It was happening to like so many people.
It has to do with the something about the reflection on the armor.
On certain armors, yeah.
Bonfire. Yeah, like so if you were a knight and you'd walk up to the bonfire, like there were people that were just getting in a crash loop.
Yeah, yeah, so. Which is unfortunate. I don't know if that's been fixed yet. I haven't been following that storyline at all. But yeah, I probably need to jump in and play another character. I just don't really.
Absolutely, it's and it's also such a better experience playing Dark Souls when you can read everyone else's messages and get.
That's the other thing too.
You can invade. Like, dude, I went into the swamp, got in the wolf thing.
Yeah,
and I was getting sucked into other people's games and doing PvP and stuff. And it was
that's what Strippin was doing a lot of. Yeah,
but dude, I don't know what they changed in the game, or maybe it's not even changed. But there was at one point I got sucked into someone's game as a protector. There was another protector there, and we were both purple. And then there was a red invader, and then the dude who was running from all three of us like freaking crazy.
So that's how the
there was this
PvP works.
guy running through the swamp with two purple dudes and a red guy running after him, all swinging in air.
That's just bad luck, dude.
Dude, and then he gets to this big circle, and it was like a clown car. Like he was running in a circle, dodging, and all three of us are trying to like cut him off and do different things, and he just kept dodging around us, and then he ran out, and we'd all follow him back down. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think Adam's been playing the game with the Covenant of the Sun or whatever, the Sun Bros.
Yeah,
and he spawns in as a golden guy to defend people that get invaded by either the two blue guys or by the red guy. And that, I don't think I would be comfortable. Like, when I would get invaded on the Japanese version on the PS4, it was in one specific point where it's like super focused PvP. Like, there's even a little gladiatorial arena that you can go to right after the church, if you remember that area.
The ice?
Yeah. Well, no. Yes, the end boss at that area. Right after that. And so I would get invaded by Japanese players there, and there's a covenant in there that spawns two red guys. So you fight 2v1. And I was just having such an annoying time because, like, I have to Ember to get through this fucking shit. But if I Ember, I just get invaded by the Japanese players, and then I'm playing against people with like 700 ping. In order to backstab these guys, I'm here and they're over fucking here, and I'm backstabbing them from across the map. That's how bad the latency was. And especially too when we would spawn with like 13 flasks, the fight would last like 30 minutes, and I was like, this is a gigantic waste of time. Like, why am I doing this? So eventually I just started jumping off. Like, I was like, I don't fucking care anymore.
Understandably. The ping has been okay on the PC. It's been all right, thankfully.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I would probably enjoy that more. But yeah, I think invading is annoying in that game for me.
I saw a tweet from Peeve earlier. Apparently the PC leaderboards already have SL1 with 99 in all stats.
Oh, they're already hacks? Yeah. That was bound to happen.
Yeah, that kind of sucks. Hopefully they'll get that fixed up soon.
Yeah, I would think the consoles are probably, if you're going to PvP and you actually care about the leaderboards, that's where you want to go. But yeah.
I don't know.
I do got to ask, did you fight the twin shit fuck all wolves after the ice place? Code, did you ever fight those guys?
In Dark Souls 2?
No, Dark Souls 3. Did you ever find that hidden door? Where you go down a very, very long ladder. Yeah, go ahead and take your headphones out. You go down a super long ladder. No.
Oh, yes.
And there's a covenant right behind it.
Two shot at him. Yep.
Did you fight them at the appropriate level when you first went down there?
I did.
Man, I had a really hard time with those.
I got really lucky. Like, I got to a point where one of them was like queuing attacks in a corner. And I saw Zeke take his headphones out, which is why I'm saying this, by the way.
Yeah.
I got one of them in a corner and was able to get the other one down by half. And then I like cut around the room about a quarter more, and it happened again. So I was able to get one of them down. And I almost died to the second guy and almost lost my shit. But,
see, every time I fought those guys, I was invaded. So I couldn't do it solo and I eventually just went back much later on in the game and had no problem with like a plus 10 axe where I just like two shot them. Like literally hit them twice and they died. But yeah, I had a really hard time with those guys when I went in there. I think I was like level 60-ish when I first found them. And I just got
I was also
murdered.
playing a pretty powerful build when I did it too. So that's worth mentioning.
Yeah. I think those guys were the hardest guys in the game though, at that level for me.
Wow.
100%. But yeah, that's Dark Souls 3. I mean, we could spend a long time talking about it, but I don't want to spoil too much for Zeke because I know he hasn't played yet.
We'll wait for Zeke to finish it up before we do it anymore.
Are you going to try to finish the game, Zeke, on some? Not. Are you going to play like a proper character?
No, like no challenge character.
Yeah, just like because I feel like the game really deserves it.
Right. No, I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will. I'm just kind of having fun with it, and I'm honestly, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling with do I want to do that on the broadcast? Like just do a regular character that I want to play.
Right.
Play it the way I would play it if no one was there. Or do I want to go through it by myself?
Right. I know that's what Man vs. Game just like left for like 3 days and played the entire game himself. So I know people that have done that as well.
Well, he didn't want it spoiled. He didn't want any, like, he's really all about that. I'm not as much, but for a game like this, I would really like that.
Yeah. Strippin's just put his chat in sub mode the entire time he's playing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, man, like that. I feel it's really unfortunate when streamers do that, because a huge part of Dark Souls is like seeing that first reaction when you see these bosses for the first time and like experience some of these fights. Like even if you just turn chat off, literally just have on screen, hey, not reading chat, I bet you your community would still like. I know I'd love to watch you see all experience that for the first time. That could be really interesting, seeing someone play it without reading chat at all.
Exactly. There's points where I'll tune into a Dark Souls stream. I never watched a streamer before, but I see where he's at and I'm like, oh fuck, he's coming up on that one point that really, really sucks. I'm gonna watch him die right here. And then he'll like not die, or he'll die and I'll be like, fuck yeah, and then I'll just go to the other streamer. But I think that the experience is like the first time through is worthy of being streamed. Even if you just don't listen to your, like, when I play Overwatch for 7 hours, I don't read the chat. I'm just there to play the game, not to stream.
It's important to mention though, if you're not gonna have fun doing that, then like it's more important that you have fun playing it than it is obviously your community watching it, like no question. But I think there's a middle ground you could explore where you could get what you want out of it and at the same time your community could watch you do it. But seriously, like I very much recommend playing the game for your first time as a build you want to do.
Right.
Like not something that's going to be crazy difficult. Or, like if I had not done this Xbox One playthrough, I would not be doing this build I'm doing now. It's like a different. It's like two different games.
Right.
So I don't know, man. Like I was watching Zeke for a little bit yesterday, and like, oh man, that is so crazy what you're doing.
Yeah.
It's a lot of, it's fun for a while, but
it sucks when you get stuck though.
Well, that's what I'm at that point right now where my armor's too heavy. The items I have on are far too heavy. I'm fat rolling everywhere. I'm doing almost no damage with my weapons.
Yeah.
You should just start over and do exactly what you want to do. Don't stop the other playthrough. Come back to it later, but like have fun with it first. Have a good damn time with it on your terms.
That's honestly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I tried the sorcery build the first time through, and it's not satisfying.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. People love to see you rage, but raging when you're having fun is one thing. Raging when you're not having fun is another thing. That there's different types of rage.
I agree.
So
the other thing too, I've heard multiple people say that the mages suck at the beginning of the game, and you're basically playing a melee character with high int. And then you start getting the spells from like bosses and later on that you can get from like finding all the books. And then your character becomes actually overpowered. Then you start hitting for like 1,000 with your spells on normal mobs and shit.
I'll testify right now, dude. I had serious problems with the very first boss on my sorcerer character.
Yeah.
Because I kept trying to do the spells, but he'd always hit me before they were done.
They have a long wind up.
And then they would hit and it'd be like a melee hit worth of damage.
Yep.
So I was like, what's the point of this? Like I was getting super pissed. But
I remember Zeke was saying the same thing when the wind up times on like the heavy cast of the fireball is just like, why am I could just go up and hit him twice in like a second for the same amount of damage.
I've heard it all changes when you get Kamehameha. Like apparently that's when like you cast that for the first time. It's like some giant beam attack. I think I've seen it once or twice on stream and PvP. It's just like this huge beam of energy that can like track targets and apparently looks
shit.
amazing, does huge damage, and that's when you become a mage.
Is that a boss thing?
I don't even know. I may do a mage run sometime. So whenever I'm actually not watching mage runs because I want to do one sometime.
Yeah.
The only thing I did, I watched Dan get pretty far in a pyromancy run.
Yeah.
I don't know if he just, I don't know what was going on, but he at one point showed all the spells he had, and he was pretty good into the game. And it was like one of his spells was hitting for 18 damage, but you had to keep the spell going and hope the enemy didn't attack you while it was getting hit because it didn't stun him or anything. Like there were so many weird things about it. Yeah. But I heard it was like the sorcerer, where as you get further into the game, it like all of a sudden just starts spiking in terms of your spell's quality and damage.
That's what I've seen as well. And I think a lot of the, in Dark Souls 2, you would get a lot of those like staffs and a lot of the like key mage like rings and armor and shit like that very early on. A lot of that stuff is actually late game, and a lot of that stuff is really well hidden to where you won't find like the more sorceries memorized or higher damage on your sorceries, that type of shit, till much later on in the game. And so I feel like they kind of balanced magic that way this time around, because the other Dark Souls 2, Zeke, you know firsthand, like sorcery was just fucking broken. Like it was a joke. So yeah, that's Dark Souls 3. I'll eventually start another character. Right now, today's like the last big move day for a while. I basically have to take out like a bajillion boxes and go put them next to the trash and sort all that stuff and like take things out that I want to keep. And so that'll take like 2 or 3 hours, and I can finally take a day and just relax.
Nice.
The other thing too, which has nothing to do with actual games, but for those that use that the $700 Magewell card, I think I don't think Zeke's using it yet, or Zeke, what card do you have? Are you using the Magewell dongles, the 300 ones?
I'm using the external 300. Yeah. So for the internal card, you know how you have the random screen tearing all the time? Like everyone has screen tearing with that card, no matter what game you play.
I have it very rarely, but
I might have found a fix, and it's on the way. So if it works, I'll tell you about it.
Hardware?
Yeah. Someone said that if you get a Steam link for $50,
I have one of those.
So you can even test this then maybe for me, and I can cancel my order. You can connect your PC into that, and then connect the Steam link into the capture card and capture that. And it'll be flawless 1080p 60 with no screen tearing whatsoever.
What is the reasoning behind that?
That it doesn't screen tear. Like it skips that whole thing. And so for people like with G-Sync, with me...
It's really interesting, JP, because I actually use... like my PC, my gaming PC doesn't go directly into my Magewell. It goes through a splitter and then some other thing that helps maintain the integrity of the signal.
A booster or whatever.
Very rarely get screen tearing.
Okay.
So whatever that fix is, maybe it just needs to go through like a enhance or like some kind of enhancer, or maybe the outputs are not good enough. I don't know, but
I don't know what it is. Someone was saying it fixed it, and so I was like, fuck it, I'll just throw $50 at the wall and see if it works, because with 1440p G-Sync running on mine, in order to keep G-Sync, no matter what I send, there's like always going to be inherent screen tear about 2/3 of the way down on the stream. And Lyric has the same issues, which is why we're always like, every week we're like, you gonna find any fixes, blah blah blah, and no, nothing yet. So we're hoping this fixes it.
My problems are not nearly that bad.
Yeah,
my screen tearing is very, very minimal with it.
So we'll see. I'm not seeing any on Zeke, so it looks like those $300 Magewell things are so fucking good. I wish I didn't have a 1440p monitor, so I could just have like flawless capture every time, no matter what the game
now
is.
Now Razer's under the arena for capture.
I saw that. Yeah, that came out the last week we did the show. What's the grip saw?
The Razer Ripsaw.
Ripsaw.
Yep, I use it for all my console stuff.
Yeah.
I use the Razer Ripsaw on my gaming PC. So the Razer Ripsaw comes in, goes into OBS. I preview mode that, and then that monitor is sent to the Magewell on my streaming machine.
Ah, okay.
Worked great for the Xbox stuff. Like it.
Yeah.
It's worked awesome.
I know.
I haven't tried it as a primary card because I've got the Magewell, of course. I don't need to, but it's worked great for everything I've needed so far.
Does that use the same USB 3 firmware as most stuff?
Yeah, it does. And it also has that weird double connector, like the power.
Yeah. Can you buy that?
It looks exactly like my old Extreme Cap. Like I don't know if it's a rebranding or something. Like this is my
I
extreme
saw
cap
that
from the
image
original.
where it was like literally the same internals as that extreme cap with a different casing on it.
Yeah,
I
it may
don't-
be. It may be.
I don't know if they make the. Do they still sell extreme caps? Can you still buy those? Maybe like
I
the
don't know.
supplier just went to Razer and I don't know. Maybe I'm just
Could've been.
making shit up.
If
Who
you
knows?
get a chipset that works with the U3, it's great. Like I loved my U3. I used it
Yeah.
before my Mage well, but the problem is if you don't get the right chipset,
It has to
then
be a
you get
newer
all
chipset.
sorts of weird issues. Like it'll hang every so often, or the connection will just drop, or stuff like that. But yeah, one of the what was the thing I said? I think the first sub that comes up to my signing, I'm giving the U3 to. So
There
the
you go.
extreme.
There you go.
So that'll give it
Other games besides Dark Souls. Zeke, what have you been playing besides Dark Souls? Anything?
Dude, I gotta tell you about Harvester.
Harvester. Oh, I have no idea. Tell me about Harvester.
Holy shit. It's a game from 1996.
Okay.
It has sort of FMV, like full motion video, sort of at times. It's that pixelated full motion video.
Was this on Weird Game Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it started on Weird Game Day, and then I finished it out. Now I played a few weird games. I played Plug and Play. Yeah, that's Harvester.
Okay.
It's from 1996. It was banned in a lot of countries
Really?
because yeah, it's fucked up. There's some fucked up shit. Like, oh wait, do I put fuck in there? Yeah, watch
Yeah.
this. Watch my mom's reaction to this. Oh God, delayed. Come on, just push the button, Zeke.
You're
Jesus
hyping
Christ.
it up.
What a thing to say to your mother. Was that an invitation? Now that your father's out of action?
Jesus. Okay. All right.
Yeah, how about it? Maybe later. Right now, how's it to do? Though you can watch if you want.
Jesus.
Look at your reaction down there.
Can you? I saw.
Holy hell. No, there's no nudity at all.
Oh.
There's no nudity at all. There's fucked up dialogue. There's fucked up like animation, like if you go over to the baby, like get that little cutscene from the baby in the baby carriage, like the baby, like there's like cockroaches crawling on it, and like poorly animated cockroaches, and the cockroaches like crawl into the baby's mouth and he eats it, and like this kind of stuff.
Is it like a horror game?
It's a mystery horror weirdo game.
Okay.
And there's the fucking paper boy.
Yeah.
Now you can attack anything in the game.
Oh.
I don't know if I do it this time. I might.
With
You could
the
do like an
shovel?
all-kill playthrough.
No, well,
There's probably like key characters you can't
no,
kill.
because there is something that safeguards it, being the police.
Right? Huh.
Because if you kill someone, like spoilers, sure, it's like 96.
Yeah.
But like if you kill someone, the cops will take you away and electrocute you and like put you in the chair. They put you in a very poorly done, it's like a fucking pasta colander. They put the wires coming out of it, they put it in your head.
I think
and
I might have
they're-
saw this game on like a giant bomb stream or something because I remember it being really violent.
It is pretty violent. Like it's a lot of animated scenes that are full motion video that are violent. The entire last section of the game is just a fucked up nightmare scenario. It's really good.
Who told you to play
I had
this?
so much fun playing it. Oh, when I just said, give me some weird games. Give me some strange games. This is on Steam too. You can get it on Steam.
Okay.
Give me some strange games to play. So I played this, and I tell you, it's a fucking experience, man. Like, don't let anyone. That's why if you're gonna play it, don't let anyone ruin anything that's coming up, because
Gotcha.
seriously, there are times where I did this. Oh, what am I? Oh, please don't do it. Oh God. Just because it's like, it's just fucking terrible.
Interesting.
The only part I saw you stream of this, Zeke, was the end. And
Yeah.
when you were going through the stuff at the end, and dude, I was basically just the whole thing. I was just
yeah, that's
like, what?
that looks like a weird
there's
game,
so
man.
many times during the game when you think it's not gonna get it, like not gonna surprise you anymore, and it does, and you're like, what? It's like I feel like I
So-
want to cry.
That's why I want to talk to you about Jazz Punk, which was my top 10 games of the year when it came out. I fucking thought
That
that
Adult Swim game, Jazz Punk,
What a
with like the play school character looking things.
this game right here. You'll remember it soon as I throw it up.
I know. I think yeah.
What
this.
what a fucking game this is, man. This is a fucking video game, Z. I watched you play, having not played in like a year or two. I forgot how fucking weird this game is.
Yeah.
Dude.
That was an experience.
I've never heard of this game.
It's an acid trip of a game, dude. This game is real fucking bizarre. Like, I don't even know how to describe. I don't even know how to describe it. It's just an experience.
Yeah, it's a strange one for sure.
Oh my god, you found the spiders.
Wow.
Did you ever hit the ladies in the alleyway with the fly thing, and then they turn into a fly?
That freaked me the fuck out.
These people right here, yeah.
The first time I did it, I was like, "Oh God, what was that?"
Yeah, there's a lot. This game is, God, man, that game is fucking. That is a weird ass game, dude.
What kind of game is it?
It's not. It's just kind of like a. Would you call it an adventure game, Zeke? I don't even know. It's like a weird, like.
Say an absurdist puzzler.
Yeah, it's kind of like a meme of a game. Like it doesn't like follow internet memes or anything, but it's just like a comical adventure type game that's like 6 or 7 hours, I think, is how long it took me to complete it. Maybe a little longer.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah, like it's a shorter one. Like 6, 7.
There's just like it's very referential in a lot of things, and they say things that's like they'll make jokes that are like of like the pH balance of something, and they'll like tie that into a joke. Like this guy right here, you're like you're an agent for some guy that's just a fucking nut job that does real weird shit, and then you find this shit, and you have to like find this guy and figure out how he's guilty or some shit. You find that by like finding the spider in the sushi that's going around that has like it's just a weird game. Like he just says, "I'm a Texas Instruments man," which means like the calculator, but it doesn't mean that it's a weird game, dude. I can't
There's all kinds
Johnny
of
Cash.
Yeah, Johnny Cash.
Those computer puns aplenty.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Born and raised on a render farm. Yeah, it's just weird, man. But I really enjoyed my time with it.
Dude, I'm gonna have to try this game. When did it come out?
A year and a half ago, 2 years, something like that.
Julia made me play this. This was Julia suggested. Said, "Give me a game to play." She's like, "Play Jazz Punk. I love it." Really?
It's just
I
weird.
love this game.
Did you ended up beating it, right?
Oh yeah, I played it all the way to the end.
Yeah,
and also like I explored every single room in that goddamn resort, and that was a mistake.
That took There's a lot of people in that. I feel like the final area too was kind of crazy when you like go inside. I don't want to spoil it, but
this is it right here, yeah.
Yeah, you just do some weird stuff, man. That game's really bizarre. This is a guy that gives you missions, and he's real fucking weird. Like you'll walk in sometimes and he'll just disappear behind his desk, but his shoes stay on the desk.
Or he'll say, "I'm gonna go down to the basement," and you see him like do like the Mike Myers like stare thing, and he's just laying below the desk.
Yeah, like it's funny in that sense.
That's it. Yeah, he's just laying below. I'm gonna go to, and there's like a lot of mumbly talk. That's why they put the word that they're saying, because like, "I'm gonna go to the basement. See you later."
Yeah.
Doot, doot, doot. And then he's just laying there.
It's just it's a hell of a game.
That is fantastic.
It's one of those games that like it only works if you treat it like they did. Because if you did this any other way, it would just be a terrible game. But for whatever reason, I was like, no, I'm gonna keep playing this because like it has a good amount of like dumb humor, smart humor, and it was just I enjoyed the hell of it. It was a cool game. I'm glad Zeke liked it too.
Yeah,
I was very surprised to see you playing it.
I also played Plug and Play, which is a very, very short game, but it's like, do you guys remember Bill Plimpton cartoons?
That somehow rings a bell. I don't know
Bill
why.
Plimpton cartoons were like kind of messed up cartoons. Like they were.
Is that what
like,
this is?
Looked like they were drawn. Yeah, that's Plug and Play.
Okay.
And it's a very, very short game, but it's like you're playing a Bill Plimpton cartoon.
I like the animation.
It's like you have to figure out what to do. Like there's a button there, and you have to figure out like to press the button. Okay, that didn't do anything. and then and then you're like, okay, and then what do I do now? Oh, you pull it out. Oh, weird. Okay, but then once you do that, like you do that, and then there's something else comes in from the side there. But this isn't even like the part of the game that I want that you should see.
Is it? Do you want me to skip ahead?
It's coming up. Hopefully, like one of them. Like anytime these guys are on the screen, it's good.
The animation is
like what? I'm a socket head. What's going on? And then he'll start running for no reason. And you're like, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Oh, here it is.
Wow, what?
Bink. It's a coin. He's pooping out a coin. In fact, he poops out 2 of them. He poops out 2 coins for you.
This is a weird game.
Out what to do with those coins, and that's the game. It's real short. Like, do you want that on your head?
Yeah, I kind of like the animation of that. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a really cool thing. It's a fun game. So you can turn that off because there's puzzle elements. If you want to play it, it's so short. It just goes from one thing to it's like 20 for 25 minutes.
Of ass pennies.
Pennies.
and other things.
Okay. I won't skip ahead, then we'll let people figure that out for themselves. That's a weird game. That fits the category of weird game. What else, Zeke?
Played
you played Hyper Light Drifter. Can we talk about that? I played
Hyper Light Drifter.
I played that too.
Hyper Light Drifter is cool.
I want to talk about I haven't played this game. I haven't watched that much of this because I really want to play it eventually, but like everything I've seen in this game in terms of just like the art looks awesome.
What? Not only the art, the music is also stellar. It's really, really good music. It's Disaster Piece.
Oh, okay.
And it's really, really good music. The action is, it's just it's just like this. It's just top down action, like swords, and you get a gun and stuff like that. You face bosses and it's in a fantasy world. It's great.
A lot of people have said this is like a top down Dark Souls. Is that any truth to that? As people that have played it, like that's what everyone's like. Oh yeah, it's a top-down Dark Souls Zelda game, and I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. I'm into that. So like, as people who have played it, what do you guys think?
I didn't even care that it was 30 FPS, guys. I didn't give a shit. I had a blast.
Oh, everyone hated that it was 30 FPS. Okay.
Yeah, it didn't bother me in the slightest. But then again, I'm not a
You're not someone that cares about
I'd much rather have like a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
Than have it like I'll take atmosphere over graphical quality any day.
Gotcha.
That's why Harvester was so much fun.
What were we gonna say, Co?
I was saying, did you beat it, Zeke?
No, I got I think I got down 2 bosses. And I have no idea how many there are, but there's like tons of like Zelda / Metroid type secrets. Like, oh, you can walk through this thing. Oh, you can jump over here. Oh, you can on this, and then you're rewarded for like finding that shit. You know, like little gold squares that you combine into, and like every time you get 4 of them, you get like a shop token, and some things cost like 2 shop tokens, 3 shop tokens, and you upgrade your items. Like you can get like guns and shotguns, and you can get like the dash like doubled or chain dash jumps. You can get like upgrades like that.
Do mobs respawn?
I think
yes.
When you die, I know when you die they do.
Okay. Yeah. So, what?
But you can go back to an area that you've already cleared if you haven't died yet, and they're still dead.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I think, unless you warp or something.
Don't know.
But like if I'm in an area and I walk out and it like does like the Zelda like screen change.
Yeah.
I go back to that area, they're still dead.
Are you playing with a mouse and keyboard?
No, I'm playing with controller.
Okay. All right.
Definitely controller recommended.
Yeah. Okay. Co, what are your thoughts on? Did you finish it?
I played it for 2 hours and was kind of done with it.
Okay.
I found the combat kind of repetitive. The gun was kind of hard to control. Wasn't a big fan of it. I like what the game does in terms of having you kind of figure out what's going on, and that's kind of cool. It's almost like this puzzle element on top of the game
because there's no story, like it's not in your face with story, right? It's you learn.
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but the game uses different ways to get you the information you need, and it's creative, and that was actually one of the parts I really liked about the game. But I played it for like 2 hours, and maybe I was just kind of unlucky in where I went, but I was just doing like the same thing, fighting the same mobs, like almost the entire 2 hours. And by the time like I got to one point where I was just like, you know what, I'm kind of done with this. Like I didn't really feel the want to continue. But I
Gotcha.
will say that the combat is really cool. It's difficult. Like the parts that I was doing was not super easy. You don't have a huge amount of, like, you have 5 life things, and some of the enemy attacks do 2, and they attack, every couple seconds. So if you're not kind of on your game, then you'll get killed.
Okay.
But it wasn't really for me.
Gotcha.
I didn't have too much fun in it.
Frog boss, because I've heard people talk about the frog boss.
I don't even know if I got to the boss in mine.
Oh, okay.
I think Adam Coble has beaten it, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I think he was mentioning he played it last night.
But most people I've talked to have liked it.
Yeah.
So I don't take my opinion as don't play it. I definitely recommend trying it, and it's a very solid indie game.
I think it's.
What way did I go first? I went north. WD-40. Yeah, I went up first.
I think it's $20 too.
I don't remember. Offhand.
Is North the frog boss? Because I've heard people talk about the frog boss.
I don't even know if I got to the boss in mine.
West.
Oh, that's west.
Or excuse me, east. That's because that's where I went first.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard people talk about the frog boss.
Yeah, it's
in a
$20.
way. Cool. Well, that's Hyperlight Drifter. Zeke, you played a lot of games, it seems. So what else? Let's talk about some other weird shit.
The Town of Light.
Okay, what is that? Let's pull this up.
The Town of Light is just it's. I hesitate to call things like this a game because it's a
interactive experience.
It's a playable narrative.
Oh,
is what it is. Like there's tons of like stuff like this. It's extremely atmospheric. I can see it being a very polarizing game because I can see people going like, this fucking game is boring as shit.
Sure.
I can totally see it because there's a lot of walking and you walk really slowly and there's no way to speed you up. And I think that's a bad choice in a walk around game, in a walking simulator. But I will say that when you get the story elements, it's pretty goddamn immersive, and it takes place in a like, I'm not spoiling anything. This is like the byline. It like takes place in a defunct insane asylum from the 1840s.
Okay.
1840s. But yeah, somewhere in the like early 1800s.
That's a good spot.
And no, they just show like you walk around and you see like all these like barbaric machines that they used to do with insane people, and like you get like little cutscenes of like the horrific conditions and the horrific things that patients had to endure, or
it was pretty crazy back then
to endure.
Yeah.
And shit
like a horror game.
So, no, there's no jump scares at all. I'm sorry to spoil that, but there's no like.
It's fine.
It's just a creepy, like, I don't know, man.
And creepy environmental.
Thinking about it, yeah. And you play as this. Well, that's the thing. You're not like, who am I when I'm playing this?
Ah, okay.
Kind of a thing, But you go through it, and it'll flash to like when, like it'll have like flashbacks, like when it was still functional hospital, or a still functional asylum.
Gotcha. Interesting.
That looks really cool. It looks unsettling. Looks something.
Yeah.
It is. It's probably not the best game to stream per se, because there's a lot of in between time when you're kind of just exploring and looking around at stuff and trying to find out where you're supposed to go next.
Sure.
Did you find there was an ending?
Yeah, there's definitely an ending.
Definitely an ending.
Definitely an ending. That it's about a 5-hour game.
Oh, people are saying in chat, or someone, Azraelian in chat, let's just give him a name, is saying that it's also based on true stories. I think at least based on true stories. So
yeah, true accounts of of
1840. Shit was kind of fucked up back then. Like, they didn't really treat those people the way they're supposed to be treated.
Well, that's what asylums were. They were throwing out the garbage people.
Yeah.
Just saying, you go to the right places of the world, this is exactly what they're still doing.
Yeah, it still happens in parts of the world for sure.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, it's horrifying. Like, to see some of this shit and think like, yeah, this happened. This should happen.
Human beings are actually fucked up and still today, but we used to be more barbaric.
I compared it to like hopefully like in 50 years, I don't know, give me like name a number of years, but like in a matter of years, like we'll look back on chemotherapy and go, that was fucking barbaric, dude.
In 50 years, we're all gonna have fucking proton cannons in our pockets, Zeke, And we're just
Like, oh, shit got cancer.
Hold on a second. A bow. Okay, we're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. Like they're gonna like look back on our packs and go like, "Whoa, that's fucking terrible." you
Yeah,
know?
exactly. I hope it's like you remember the Star Trek thing where they would just like fucking hit them with a little bit of whatever, and they'd be like, "Nope, you're good. You're all better."
Dude, I'm watching Voyager right now, and they brought back people from the 1940s in this one episode, and he's lying on the doctor's table with this huge wound on his chest, and him and this woman are having like this last moment, saying like, "Before I die, I just need you to know that I love you," and the doctor's like, "Okay, you're good."
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "Erase all that stuff I just said."
Yeah. Medicine needs to hit
that's
that
gonna be
point
awesome.
for sure. Zeke, what else, sir?
Let's see. There was one other. Was there one other game that I played? I'm not sure.
Telltale. I can't see the name of that game. Force Showdown. We talked about that already. We did a show.
Oh yeah, Force Showdown. Yep.
Yeah, I think at least everything I'm seeing you've covered for sure.
Oh, I played The Witcher 3 again.
Oh yeah, I heard that
No,
Co
you
guested.
didn't. No, you didn't.
I heard
did.
that Co
That's
guested
right.
on your
Co did.
channel.
Co
I
played
took over Zeke's channel. A lot of people
Little
erroneously
Inferno, that's
think that Zeke was cosplaying me. That's actually not the case. He gave me a stream key, and I just played a few hours of Witcher.
Seeing
Yeah.
your face next to it, it's not bad.
It's pretty close.
It's pretty good. I was blown away when I saw the glasses, man. I was like, dude, I took me weeks when I got my new pair of glasses to find this thing. I look over and I'm like, where the hell did you get those, man?
It's pretty good. I saw this and I immediately thought, I was like, do I need to find some new drop frame host? Did something bad go on between Co and Zeke? Like, what the fuck? Because I didn't know what was going on when I first tuned in. I was like, all right. But Zeke, you should make this like once a month where you like talk to a broadcaster, get the okay from them, and then you just like emulate their cast.
Oh, that's right. There's a tip.
Yeah.
With the Co gif of him falling over.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, that was some bad beer, man.
It's great. It's good stuff. Yeah, you should totally make this like once a month.
And Co, obviously Co's a good sport about it. He's a roaster and a roastie, so.
There you go.
I loved it, dude. I the entire time that he was doing that, people were just flooding my chat. Every time Zeke would say something, even the slightest bit questionable, everyone would pour into my chat. Oh, you just got burned. And I was like, hold on. I'd bring Zeke's thing up while I'm streaming, like playing Culling. And I'd be sitting there like, oh, really? Oh, good show to you too, asshole. You know, like it was hilarious. It was hilarious. I was honored.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Well, Maggie brought something up. She's like, when I said, what do I do if the game swears? If the game says the F word, what do I do?
God,
it was a lot of fun, and it was actually really fun to go back to The Witcher again.
No, I'm watching this. I'm like, I need to go back and like finish this game, man. I forgot how like good this game looks. And the other thing too, when I was watching, it's like,
what is it? How long we got now?
Oh, for DLC?
About 2 months from now, and the final big DLC comes out, Blood and Wine.
We're
talking Blood. This one expansion has more traversable terrain than all of Witcher 2.
That's pretty crazy.
It's gonna be huge, man. It's gonna be like the bookend to the Witcher series.
That's awesome.
It's gonna be.
Is it taking place after the end of The Witcher? Or Witcher 3?
We know very little about it.
Okay.
We know that it takes place in Toussaint, which is one of the main locations where most of the wine comes from in the world. But that's pretty much like all we know.
Gotcha.
But
yeah.
I'm doing a panel at PAX East with CD Projekt Red for Witcher stuff.
Nice.
And there may be some stuff about it there. I don't know if I can talk about what's on it yet, but
do you have time and date for that yet?
I think it's 2:30 on Sunday, but don't quote me on that. I'll be tweeting out a bunch of it when we get closer.
Gotcha.
Got like a pre-planning meeting in a couple of days. So.
Cool. Co, anything else for you that you want to talk about before we jump to some news?
Wrapped up the Deus Ex franchise playthrough. That was amazing, experiencing all those games again on Twitch. And what's really interesting is I somehow completely missed the Mankind Divided trailers. So I ended up watching both of those on stream when I was done with Human Revolution.
Oh, nice.
And I had many hype-gasms. Like, oh my God, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Mankind Divided. They're taking it to an awesome direction, and I can't wait to do it. This is again my plea to any one of the 7,469 people watching. If you've never played Human Revolution and you are even slightly interested in sci-fi, do yourself a favor and play it. You can get it for a great deal these days. It is a fantastic game. It's literally the bar for shooter RPGs in a sci-fi environment.
Yeah.
And I did a pacifist run, so I didn't kill a single person the entire game. It was all sneaking and using augments and, you know, like doing all that kind of stuff. And it was an absolute blast to play it.
There's so
I'm
many
sad it's
people
over,
here.
to be honest.
I'm just looking
And
at
then-
you sneak past so many people right there. Are you supposed to fight all those
I'm
guys?
cloaked. I was using my cloak augment. So all those people, I don't want to. That's kind of like a big point at the end of the game, so I don't want to talk too much about it. But needless to say, I was really heavily using all the technology in the game this run. So because I couldn't kill anyone, I could only use a stun gun and a tranq rifle the whole game. So
Nice.
yeah, it was an interesting experience. But lots of augments, lots of cloaking, all the hacking upgrades. Like my guy was fully decked by the end of it. Like almost every upgrade unlocked.
Gotcha.
Total beast machine of an augmented dude. It was great. It was great. And then we watched all 4 of the endings and stuff. And then the other game that I played, and I kind of wanted to bring this up because I heard you didn't like it too much, JP, but I gotta say, I not only loved it, I played it like 8 hours.
Really? What's
Name
that?
that game.
I don't know. I haven't played anything besides Dark Souls and Final Fantasy 12.
Doom.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I hated Doom. I thought that game was absolute trash.
Love it. It is. I was an old school Unreal Tournament player. I was in a clan. Did the whole 9 yards. I played Doom multiplayer, dude. I was sold.
And I understand.
Grouped up. Like, oh shit.
I understand exactly. The second you said Unreal Tournament, I was like, that's it. It's because a lot of those guns are very similar to Unreal Tournament guns.
Well, not only that, it's the whole feel of the game.
Yeah.
It feels like the old Unreal games that I used to play, and it's kind of a hard feeling to get down. Like I'm one of those people that really enjoyed like the power-ups everywhere and the smaller maps at high speed. And you know, I'm not a COD guy, and a lot of people kept comparing it to COD, but I'm not really a big COD guy. So
it's an arena shooter
comparison. Yeah. So, but you know, I love the power-up stuff. I love the over-the-top demons, the fatalities. Like I started playing it not expecting much, and I ended the experience being like, I've already played this 8 hours and I could play this a lot more. Like I was really enjoying it. Leveling up is really cool because you always get these crazy like randomized unlocks, and some of them are really good and some of them aren't. Lots of guns.
I didn't even take the time to understand what I was unlocked. I was so upset when I was playing this game.
Yeah. See, I don't know. Like I ended up doing pretty, like I got relatively decent at it. I was getting your tops every round at the end of it, but that was only because all the people were playing that were new.
Like the first game I played, I had 23 kills with a rocket launcher. Then the second one had like 7, and then I uninstalled the game 2 games afterwards. Like I went in there with like a Quake background, right? And like that's why when he said Unreal Tournament, I was like, I get that because I hated Unreal Tournament, but I was like, I'm the biggest Quake fanboy. Granted, it's still Doom, but to me, it's like id Software multiplayer shooter. Let's hope they went the Quake route. And I was just like, the other thing that really, actually probably the biggest thing I have against that game is the fact that the fucking announcer is garbage. The announcer sounds like he's I don't mean this in a rude way, but it sounds like he's a gay man that's like, good job. Way to go. You got the flag. Goody, goody. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Just be fucking like a deep, dark Satan guy and say multi-kill. Don't fucking tell me how bad you want me to blow you. Like, fucking just be cool. I was like so upset when I was playing it.
Wow.
It was so fucking bad.
What? Here's the thing. For me, the announcer didn't really bother me, and that's probably because I just came from Culling, which also has an obnoxious ass announcer.
Yeah, see, it's the exact same thing. I hated that about the Culling.
So,
as well.
but I can say that the entire time I was playing Doom, that was probably one of the biggest complaints. Like people just did not like that announcer. Not only that,
I couldn't fucking stand him.
The thing that kind of triggered me a little bit is the fact that he's saying things like he should be really happy, but a lot of times it's just monotone.
It's very monotone, yeah.
So it comes out like really awkward.
Yeah. He's like, you got a multi-kill, and I'm like,
yeah, like so it was kind of weird. That being said, I think at one point even the Doom Twitter joked about the announcer and
really
how, like it wasn't their final or something. So hopefully they'll look at it.
I don't understand that design change because like it's id Software and it's Doom. And they have like such a staple of like having really fucking like badass
it's
announcers.
Dirty, it's bloody, it's demon.
It's like it's a deep dark fucking announcer that you're just like, Oh fuck yeah! I just got a multi-kill heavy
It's a
metal
little bit of a
announcer.
schism.
Yeah.
Between what you expect and what you're getting.
And,
So
and like
I agree with that.
I couldn't. I don't know. Aside from that, I was just not into it. It didn't. I went in expecting a Quake experience for whatever reason, and I just didn't get that. I was like, I'm gonna go back to Overwatch. Like that's
I feel
I'd
you,
rather
man.
play that.
But I gotta say, for people who liked Unreal Tournament, like definitely check the game out. There's a multiplayer beta in what, 2 days?
Oh, it's the same weekend as Overwatch. Fucking Blizzard, man. Blizzard's so ridiculous about
Anytime
that.
another dude, I swear there's a position at Blizzard that the only thing that position does is watch other companies when they're doing shit, and they bring that to the meeting, like, hey
Dude.
guys, Bethesda, Doom thing, like we got to do something.
So funny how Blizzard they do that with every game that like open beta launches the day that Battleborn comes out.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
Holy
I know.
shit, that's so fucked up. But it works. But it's so fucked up.
It does. Real quick, because I know we're low on time. 2 other things. New RimWorld patch, amazing. That game just keeps getting better. It was already good. They made it better. Like now people can have relationships. They can get in fights. They can marry. They throw parties. That just
Wow.
If you're a RimWorld fan, check out the latest build. It's incredible. And then also Quantum Break.
Did you like that? That game was pretty divisive. Or actually, no, that's actually not. A lot of people didn't like Quantum Break. They said it was pretty boring.
Oh, and Enter the Gungeon. But Quantum Break. Okay, here's about Quantum Break. I liked Quantum Break because there's a place for high production games. There's a place for really good acting, really solid voice actors, extremely work, lots of levels, lots of work in the lots of time in the levels, lots of time in the graphics, and like the time stuff graphics looked really cool, and like there's a place for games like Quantum Break. That being said, I almost say that the story and atmosphere was my favorite part of it. I found the gameplay, although entertaining with all the crazy super time powers, was very lacking. It felt like the gameplay was just stopgaps between the large story elements, which was, I actually kind of liked the story elements in the game. I'm all for time travel as long as it's already happened. I hate time travel shows, movies, anything where it's like the multi-dimensional crap. Like I'm all about time travel that there's one timeline and everything's already happened in it. I think that's exponentially more interesting in my opinion, because that's the kind of stuff that I feel could really possibly happen.
Right.
So I really like that about it. It kind of played with that theme the whole time. It had a few twists and turns. I really liked the technology aspect of it. There was some really interesting stuff about the technology in the world that was pretty interesting. But again, like whenever you play a game, it's based around time powers, and then it's press Y for time vision.
That's a thing.
Time vision?
Is that allowed to see?
Like, oh, it's a real thing, and it
allows you to see what happens and
sense from everything else. Like seriously, that's the kind of stuff that makes you just roll your eyes so hard you're worried you're gonna break your optic nerves. It's like,
yeah.
But
you can't
so
babble it up a little bit.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Come up. Uh-oh, is my camera dead?
Nope. Well, now it is. Now you're back.
Okay. Anyway, it's the kind of thing where I don't see it moving now, but it's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, give me some techno babble, make it something cool, like come up with a cool reason for it. But they never do. It's just like, oh, hey, by the way, press Y for time vision, and it can do all this stuff. It's like,
grab your time gun.
Yeah, I know. It was ridiculous, and some of it was kind of like that. But I will say I enjoyed it. I'm glad I played it. And again, in a world full of indie games that are doing everything they can to save money, it's fun every so often to play one of those games that's just so over the top in production value.
Yeah,
that it's just like, you know what? Okay, this is entertaining. Like I said, there's a place for games like this. It's by no means the best game I've played this year.
So
is this not even my top 20 list, to be honest?
Is this a bargain bin game? Is this something you tell people to wait till it's $30?
I would certainly not pay 60 for it.
Okay,
that's
what I've gotten across the board for people.
Yeah, it's console only, right?
Yeah, it's console
and Windows 10. I thought.
Oh no, you're right. I'm sorry. It's Windows 10 or console only. Yes.
Yeah, it's
you have
Microsoft.
to have Windows 10.
Microsoft's starting to do that shit where their AAA games on Xbox One are also Windows 10 exclusive.
How do you go back? How do you go about getting it?
You have to go through the Microsoft Store in Windows.
So how was that experience? I've heard that's awful.
For me, it was okay because I let me say this. I was very hesitant to upgrade to Windows 10. I'd been avoiding it as much as I could. And the night before Quantum Break, I was like, okay, you know what? Let's do this.
You're a ballsy man.
Oh yeah, dude, you're a freaking superhero in the game. It's crazy. But I pulled up the Windows 10 thing that I've been hitting do not install on for the last like 6 months, and I was like, you know what? Fine. Let's install it. The easiest system upgrade I've done. Literally 2 clicks and I was on Windows 10.
Did you lose any
data? The
data?
first thing I did after I didn't even do a clean install. The first thing I did when it came up was I tested all the games I was streaming at the time. They all worked great. Like I was pretty, I'm not a huge fanboy. I hate upgrading OSs. It was pretty damn easy and intuitive. I was surprised. I was surprised.
That's good to hear.
And now that I'm using Windows 10, it's just fine. It's just fine. Like I was using 8.1. I went from 8.1 to 10. If anything, there's a few things I like more about it. It's not significantly.
Oh, you're already using Windows 8. See, I think 7 to 10 is the bigger jump for people.
Yeah, I got both of my computers are less than a couple years old, so they both were 8.1.
Yeah,
came with it.
I've always been reluctant to upgrade OSs after because Win 7 was just like so good for me, and I don't like change when it comes to OSs because I hate relearning shit like that. So I just haven't upgraded yet.
I'm the same way, dude. I was that guy that was on XP for like a decade.
Same here, yeah.
You will take XP from my cold dead hand.
I never installed Vista. I never had Vista installed.
Yeah.
So
I at the time of when Vista came out, I was doing computer builds, and like a good portion of my entire day for like a year at this job was convincing people not to get Vista. Just get XP. I know it's old, but you want it. Trust me.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it was ridiculous. But yeah, so let's see. Other game I played Factorio. That was pretty fun.
Okay, 2 minutes on Factorio, or however long you spend on it. Because
Factorio is really fun. Huge base building, really really cool idea. However, for me, it came down to the point where all Factorio was build X to make Y. Like I was having a really good time with Factorio for like 5 hours, making these really complex like delivery lines.
And when you say really complex, it's really complex. Like
it's pretty damn complex. Yeah. I mean, you're having to deal with a lot of different stuff. But I got to this point where I felt like all I was doing was building shit. It wasn't like RimWorld where it's like you're experiencing all these different mechanics at one time and they all kind of can do different things at once. In Factorio, it's like you're doing one thing. You are constructing items.
Right.
Everything you do in the game is based on making items. Now, don't get me wrong. It's still really cool. And I know people that have spent 200 plus hours in Factorio and they still are playing it and they absolutely love it. But
people seem to really love this game.
Yeah, for 5 or 6 hours, for me, I felt like I understood the gameplay loop. I understood what I was going to do. And at that point, moving forward, it was just making the next item and the next item and the next item. Like it didn't. I stopped losing my drive to keep making that next item.
Gotcha.
So, but again, if that's your thing, if you like that, there's nothing else that even comes close to Factorio's level of base building potential, expandability, creativity in terms of how you do it. It's huge about that. So I understand why people absolutely love it. That's for sure. But for me, I actually said at the end of my last Factorio stream, I was like, you know what? I have more fun in RimWorld. It's not that I don't like the problem solving elements of Factorio, but in RimWorld, there's so many different problems to solve at the same time that I felt it was much more engaging.
Gotcha.
But good. I can recommend Factorio to base builders. If you
I think it's only like $20 too, right? Let's see.
Yeah. You'll have a good time in Factorio if you like creative base building. A really good time.
Yeah, $20.
Yep.
So go pick that up. It's not $19.99. It's actually just $20 flat, which you don't really see on Steam at all.
Got to get those extra pennies on that dollar.
Yeah.
For that tax.
Exactly. 2 minutes on Enter the Gungeon. Yay or nay? You like it?
Oh, yeah. It's Binding of Isaac plus Nuclear Throne. If you like either of those games, I think you'll enjoy Enter the Gungeon. Cobalt Streak and Richard Hammer have been absolutely killing it in there. I think Cobalt Streak is still doing achievement runs in it. It's a bullet hell and it's fun. I mean, it's really fun. I had a good time with it. It's difficult. Like some of the first bosses you run into, like there was a one time, and I think I died 3 times in a row to first floor bosses.
Huh.
Like this is a first floor boss you're looking at right here.
Wow.
And look at that face comb.
I was pretty pissed. There's a Dark Souls dodge mechanic where it actually
I saw the roll.
Like you do a whole roll and the first half of the roll is invulnerable. Like it straight up tells you that. There's different classes to pick at the beginning, tons of different items, different characters you can unlock. Like it's a very verbose game. And like Binding of Isaac, if you do enjoy that gameplay loop, hundreds of potential hours of entertainment in that game.
Nice.
Which for the price is one of those you can't beat it. You can't.
Did you check this out at all, Zeke? Seems kind of like
I have
something
not
you'd be
yet.
into.
I've been
Okay.
meaning to. I've been really, really meaning to check it out. For
Gotcha.
sure.
Is the music good? Co?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
I remember it being okay.
right.
I don't remember it being like
It's not amazing.
Hotline Miami good, but it was good. It wasn't like Crypt of the Nectar Dance or anything, but
Gotcha.
I do like that everything in the game is bullets. Like you
I
fight.
kind of like
bullets,
that too.
everything.
Yeah.
Like you shotgun shells and bullets and grenades. Like the characters are those things.
It's a
A
cool
lot of
aesthetic.
humor in the game. I wasn't expecting that. Like every time you read an item, there's like an actual like small paragraph of item description, and some of them are damn funny. Some of the weapons are funny. Like at one point, you get a gun that fires fish, and it's a barrel, and the gun description is basically like, yeah, something about fish and barrels and easy. I don't know. We screwed it up. Like that's the description. Like it's supposed to be as easy as shooting fish in a barrel, but instead it's a barrel that shoots fish. So like literally by the end of fights with this gun, there's just dead fish all over the like literally all over the floor.
Nice.
There's either you get like t-shirt cannons and like I mean it's a fun game.
Interesting.
It's a fun game.
Interesting.
Now, does it have like item synergy like Isaac? Like you pick up one thing and it synergizes with another thing and does, changes it or anything?
I didn't get too far into that part of it.
Okay.
I know that you do get an active item. There are also passive items. So I'm sure that there's synergies a la Isaac in there. But I didn't get to too many of those in the early levels.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm going to talk 1 minute, 2 minutes about Little Inferno.
Yeah. I remember that.
Little Inferno was one of the weird game day things that said that I saw like a little video of it like before they were like because I was gonna buy it a while ago and I saw the video for it and I was like,
That game's pretty old.
this looks fucking stupid. This looks like boring and dumb.
Yeah.
It's not. It's cute and it's fun. Like
Didn't that come out on the Wii U
maybe I don't know.
before everything
got
else? I think it did.
But like you burn stuff in a fireplace, and that's kind of it.
But the story is about that,
But the
right?
stories, yeah. There's a story involved with it that kind of makes it more fun, like to keep going and stuff. And there's little achievements for every new every new menu or every new book of items that you unlock. They're like combinations of things that you have to puzzle out and say, oh, okay, put this together, burn these two together, and you get like the Traveler's Package burn achievement or medal or badge or whatever the fuck it is. And it's just like you progress through it. You just burn stuff in a fireplace, and you get like letters from your neighbor and like from other people, like that progress the
Sounds
story
bizarre.
and stuff. And like, you have to give them things. Like you buy things and you give them. You just put it in the envelope and you send it out to them and stuff like that. And it's a lot more charming than I thought it was going to be.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I remember that game came out on for whatever reason. I remember seeing it on the Wii U when the Wii U launched. It was one of the not maybe a launch title, but it was on their e-store. Just some quick news to wrap out the show. Titanfall 2 has a teaser. Did you guys check that out?
Oh, well, it's not even worth talking about yet. It's
There's a sword.
Dude, I got so excited
You thought it was
because
a
I was
proper
like, hey,
trailer?
there's a Titanfall 2 thing out. And like, here I am, like, let's watch it live on stream together. And I like tabbed out of Dark Souls and pulled it up and I'm like, okay, play. And it's done.
Yeah, it's a mech walks over to an evac pod and then he drops a sword. So swords confirmed. Which, to be honest, I'm into swords in Titanfall. Like if
Didn't we hear some crazy shit about Titanfall 2 a while back, like magic or some shit?
Well, remember the writer was like, I forgot. We read that on air and we were just like, that guy sounds actually crazy.
Yeah.
I remember that too. None of that was mentioned. Dude,
when Titanfall the original came out, I'm any game that has giant mechs you can play in.
Same here. I'm in.
I'm done. So like I did the whole unlockathon for Titanfall. All I streamed was Titanfall like 12 to 15 hours a day until I got all the unlocks. Lasted 3 days.
Yeah.
Because it sucked. No. Titanfall was okay, but the amount of content in it was
bad.
Unfortunate. Yeah. So I have high hopes for Titanfall 2. If they put in giant melee mechs and shit, like
dude, if I have sword combat with other mechs.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. But I'm really, really hoping they don't go. I hope they don't evolve this game.
I think that game.
I really hope they don't evolve this game.
I think that game more than any other game from like I guess last gen has to win over people before like it has to win so many people over because so many people are just like, yeah, you remember Titanfall that lasted 3 days.
Yeah.
Like that's the number one running comment that I see about that game. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure they're gonna have like they'll do a big E3 thing with it and bring it out. I don't know whose stage that's gonna come out on because it's PS4, Xbox One, and PC this time around. It's
Thank
not,
God. Yeah.
It's not Xbox One and PC only. So
There's
Xbox
this
PC
little
only.
part of me that really hopes we all get our expectations blown out of the water with Titanfall 2.
Same here.
I'd love to see that game. Like I'd love, because everyone knows Titanfall. Everyone knows it was a disappointment, especially in terms of content. I really hope Titanfall 2 is like the redeeming one. You know what I mean? 'Cause I'd love to see that franchise go somewhere. If nothing else, just for the lore and the game world and the setting and stuff. But again, I think all of us are so cautiously optimistic.
Everyone is. That game burned a lot of people.
Yeah, they have a lot of ground to cover.
Yep.
Titanfall 2.
Ratchet and Clank came out. A lot of people love that game. I played the first 3 minutes of it. One of the best looking PS4 games I've seen. It looks gorgeous. Like just Insomniac does what Insomniac does, and they just fucking nailed the look of that game. It looks so good. I'll eventually do a full playthrough of it, but great reviews for that. Not that much Twitch buzz on it though. Besides Lyric streaming it yesterday, there's really not that many people playing it.
Not a lot of people playing it, and those that are playing it are getting, in many cases, less than their standard.
Yeah, I think honestly, everyone's Dark Souls 3 right now on Twitch. I think that's kind of the main focus. What was the other big thing?
Ratchet and Clank. I don't know, man. It seems like a niche.
Kind of.
Because I missed out on it. I missed out on Ratchet and Clank completely.
Well, this is a complete reboot to the series, Zeke. Like they completely like it has no reference. Sorry, not reference, but like they completely rebooted the universe.
So it's like starting over from the beginning.
Yes, and it's very self-referential because it's a game about the movie. There's a movie coming with this game, and they're very much like talking about that and making jokes about that. So
see, I didn't even know there was a movie.
Yeah. What else? There was some other stuff. Oh, the 21 minutes of No Man's Sky gameplay came out on IGN.
I watched that.
I watched it in full.
I am trying to like do the media blackout, but at the same time, I'd love to know what the hell I'm playing. Like, can you give any non-spoilery feedback?
Well, I think this game would be very difficult to spoil.
Yeah, I don't think you can really spoil it.
Procedurally, like generated millions, like they said, like literally millions of planets.
Yeah,
it would be weird if you ran into anybody.
They do a lot of the thing where, like, you start on a planet, right, and they're in this like little play space, and he gets an item because there's an item building thing to it. There's also a collecting thing to it where you collect certain amount of, not chemicals. What am I trying to say? Elements, like on a periodic table. You collect like silicone and shit like that, carbon and all that crap. And then you can build certain guns. So you build a gun that like destroys the environment. And then he shoots 2 shots into the wall, and the wall opens up into this giant fucking cave system that he says sprawls for like a ton of kilometers, right?
I should probably just watch this trailer, huh?
Yeah, well, it's 21 minutes. It's not a trailer. It's basically just a sit-down gameplay of like the entire gameplay loop.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. I think it'll be fine if you watch it. It explains like the basic mechanics of the game, and he like expounds on.
He starts very basic and then goes to space.
Yeah, and how large scale this is. Now, I was not impressed with it. I was like, I saw the E3 hype and all that kind of stuff, and I was like,
It
but
looks.
I watched this, and I was like, all right. Maybe I'll get a little more interested.
A lot of people were saying that they're like, I was reading the buzz on it and seeing how people felt about it. A lot of people are saying that like the gameplay loop on the ground seemed very basic, and they weren't into that because it seemed like a lot of other survival games out right now where it's like, I got to collect 20 pieces of rock and 20 pieces of this fiber so that I can create a bat or whatever item you create. And it's that type of stuff. But then he went over to an NPC or went over into this building, and he's like, now these buildings, they're all randomly generated. They're procedurally generated. So you might walk into a building that has people in it. You might walk into into a building with no one in it. This particular building has someone in it because it's the build we prepared for you guys. Like they kind of built this build so that they would have stuff to do. But he was saying like, you might start on a world that has absolutely fucking nothing on it except the worst predators in the world, and you're just gonna die and you're fucked. Or you might start on a world that's like a rich tropical paradise that has all the fucking minerals and ores and anything you want and people to trade with and aliens in there, and you will just have the best time in the world. And he says like that's kind of the game. Like one thing that I really took from that the 21 minutes of footage that we watched was he was like, we want people to not be able to go to a wiki and learn how to play or like figure out everything about the game. We want everyone's experience to be different in that way. So that if you start out on this world, what you do go and look up is like, where's a good, like what type of elements on a planet should I look for this element? Like if I want silicone, then maybe I should go to only ice worlds.
Yeah, if it's a mountainous, cold planet, what are the elements that usually would appear on that planet?
Yeah.
So if everyone can be at different planets and there's no point that every player will visit, is the point of the game to fill in that table? Is that the game?
The point of the game is to get to the center of the universe. And he shows that like he zoomed out into space and he said, you see this line right here? This is the line to the center of the universe. And then he zooms out in his solar system, which is a literal solar system. Like we're talking, he didn't say numbers, but he said no one will visit every planet in this solar system.
It's a galaxy.
In a galaxy, sorry, in a galaxy. And he zooms out on his galaxy. He says, if we have enough gas, we can get to this next galaxy. But you see, to get to the center of the fucking universe, or the center of whatever this was, I don't know all the fucking proper space terms. We're going to have to go from like this star to, and then he just starts going. And he doesn't show how many stars there are, but it just keeps going for a long while. And he's like, and that's kind of the game. Like that's the main game. But he also says that there's story in it in the sense that he walked up to this giant monument and kind of a dialogue tree opened up. And because he knew the right answer, he got certain things. And he also learned like a word of this alien language. And if you learn a lot of the alien languages, you can trade with those aliens to get better ships, to get better weapons, do things like that. You can go to a space station and trade with these aliens to get better ships, better weapons, blah, blah, blah. Or you can just go straight up attack these other alien ships and get materials from the ship.
So wait, there's space combat?
Yeah. He walks up to a ship and just starts shooting it, and then he gets fucking swarmed.
I'm going to make a mistake right now because this is a huge ship, and I'm going to fire at this huge ship. And he fires and he like blasts some of like the escape pods on the ship, and he just gets wrecked.
Yeah, in like seconds. But he's like, if I have a good enough ship, that could be what I do. I'm a space pirate in that sense. And then he was saying like, there's multiple ways to play this game. Like people can just be explorers, they can be space pirates, they can be traders, they can do a lot of different things. And so I got interested more in it because I actually understood like the gameplay loop. But my worry is that all of those loops are very basic, and like what you see is what you get.
Mean,
there's no
like
depth.
Basic, the repetition, especially of something that long, could get really grating.
Right. And so again, it's one of those games where it's like I'm gonna play it on release, but I don't know if I'm gonna play it for an extended amount of time because I just don't know. So
well, I'll definitely have to check out the trailer. The whole reason I was avoiding it was I was concerned like it would spoil story elements or something. But it sounds like
not really.
Yeah. Okay.
They say that like he himself even says like I talk a little bit about that, but that's kind of the story. So we're leaving that to be learned at the start, like learned when the game launches. So again, 21 minutes of and he said that too in the thing. He was like, I can show you we're showing you 21 minutes of the game, but it's really not showing, like it'll take hours to actually learn what this game really is. And we're kind of letting that mystery be there for people to learn themselves, which...
Did they show any building? Is there any building?
No, I don't think there was any base building that he showed. You can build ships, you can build gear, you can build guns, I think is what it was. And upgrades. And that was it. So...
Well, we could talk next drop frames about it. I'll take a look at it and we can go into more.
Yeah, I'd be into that. I don't think there was. I'm just looking for the last little bits of news because we are a little bit over. There was a developer that left Blizzard and joined Obsidian, so I figured you would be into that, Leonard Boyarsky. I think he worked on Diablo 2.
What's his position?
Oh, he was the Diablo 3 lead world designer. He left Blizzard and is now taking a job at Obsidian. He's not sure what Boyarsky is working on now at Obsidian, but it could be the recently announced Tyranny
project.
Yeah, Tyranny.
He's going to be a chef.
He could, yeah.
Chef Boyarsky.
There you
New
go. There you go. I knew where you're going right away.
Yeah.
Let you handle that.
Fantastic.
I don't really think there's anything else.
Dude, that new IP they're coming out with is going to be crazy.
Tyranny?
Yeah.
What is that?
Well, it's kind of a standard Obsidian style Infinity engine. Well, it's not. I don't know if it's the Infinity engine, but it's that kind of standard Pillars of Eternity engine type game. But instead of being like the more linear style, long, really deep story from point A to point Z, it's much more like a spider web. So it's much more about your choices, about your character, and like there's tons and tons of different ways that the game world can go. Like at one point, I think they were talking about in the first main city area, this one decision can lead it to either being like a city or where half the city's been destroyed and it's like this gaping chasm.
Oh, that's
and
kind of cool.
That's a completely different experience with completely different artwork. And I would need to look at it a bit more to really be able to talk about it more than that. But needless to say, it's a twist on the standard CRPG.
Interesting. Okay.
And also, the world has already been taken over by evil.
Oh, that's good. I kind of like those
already
worlds.
won. So the story takes place in a conquered world.
That's cool.
Someone just tweeted at me.
Okay.
Dark Souls tabletop game.
Yeah, I saw that was. People have been talking about that.
It said it's going to be the hardest board game you ever played.
Yeah. I just saw that.
I see the little figurine of Ornstein and Smo.
Yeah, one to 4 players.
Dude, I think that's going to be fucking tits.
Yeah, but did you read the last bit?
No, I didn't. I just glanced at it.
It said, I just randomly saw this. Steamforge plans to launch its crowdfunding campaign on Kickstarter April 19th. So it's a Kickstarter.
Because Dark Souls 3 didn't sell enough copies, I guess.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Well, I mean, they split the game over 3 weeks, so that's their fault. Game releases Bravely Second in Lair comes out this Friday, which is a Square Enix game for the 3DS. Bravely Second, the first one, whatever the fuck that was called, is actually really good.
Oh, we didn't really talk about Battleborn at all.
I
Not that there's a lot to talk about right now, but
yeah. We can talk about that next week. I still haven't played it. I don't know if I plan on it. Next week, the big releases are Star Fox coming out on the Wii U on the 22nd, which is.
I wonder how that'll do on Twitch. That's a nostalgic game.
Yeah, that's Friday, so we'll all be at East for that. We won't be able to play that. And then when we come back, there is absolutely nothing. Battleborn's the next
DLC dropped today, and I've been told
by
people that I trust that on the PC we can skip it, which I don't like hearing.
Is that the mech one? What is that?
No. The mech one was the relatively.
That was the first one.
This is the Wasteland Workshop one.
Oh, okay.
And there's apparently some stuff they're doing on console, which is pretty cool. Like that really like specifically helps people playing on console. But for PC, I've been told like you build an arena, you fight some things, and that's about it. Like it's so I'll have to try myself at some point. But unfortunately, I'm like a 9 out of 10 hype for the next DLC and like a solid 3 for this one.
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Nothing after the week. Well, there is a game, and we can't actually say it because we're all behind NDA, but we will be playing a game after PAX East that I think all 3 of us are very much looking forward to. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should. Unless you're just forgetting, which you probably are. I'll just type it. There you go.
Oh yes.
So we'll be playing that the week after PAX East, which should be a ton of fun.
many of us have been waiting for a long time.
Yep. And then Battleborn is out the week after that, and then Uncharted 4 drops May 10th.
Yes.
So that's pretty fun. That'll be the next big game on Twitch, I think. Battleborn will probably just kind of like. I don't think that's going to be.
Uncharted 4 on Twitch is going to be interesting because it's. I've heard it's not that long.
Most of the Uncharted games are only 8 to 10 hours.
8 to 10. So I think it's going to be one of those things where most streamers are going to do like one-day streams of it.
Streams of it, yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's that. So PAX East next week. Remember, no show on Wednesday. We'll be live from PAX East on Friday at 6 o'clock Eastern. The 3 of us plus whoever the fuck else we decide to rope on the show, which we never really know till the day of because we don't plan that stuff. At least I don't plan that stuff.
I was gonna say we
yeah. There's no plan. Co and Zeke didn't even know that we were doing a panel until like last week or something.
Par for the
it
course.
was on the site.
Oh yeah,
It was
you learn from the
yeah,
site.
yeah.
Well,
At least it's at a decent time this time.
the reason you guys didn't learn is because it actually didn't get set in stone until like 3 days before that, because the time changed like 6 or 7 times, and then we swapped with Twitch for their town hall, so that we're after the town hall. So next week, Friday, 6:00 Eastern. It'll be on twitch.tv/PAX or PAX2. I don't know which one it's going to be. They haven't.
We'll all
put
be
up,
hosting it on our channels. So
yeah, they haven't put it up on the schedule yet, which they usually do. Let me go see if they have today. And then after that, we'll start the week after with our new schedule, starting the show at 5:00 Eastern instead of 3:00 Eastern, so 2 hours later.
Don't hate on JP for that, guys. That was something I asked for. So don't. That
Yeah,
was
and
I'm
if
sorry,
anything-
you people, and I love you. If you're still here, though, that means you'll be here for that time. So we're
Yeah,
good.
exactly. You just stay up a little bit
Yeah,
later, or
it'll
you
be
can
good.
watch the
It'll be
VOD. That's all that is. But yeah, let's do some shout outs here so we can get it out. I gotta go move some boxes, guys. I'm really looking forward to this. So Zeke, start us off with some shout outs, sir.
All right, my name is Ezekiel the Third, Zeke for short. 4R boys. I'm known 4R my rage. Thank you very much to Zachary Witten for being here.
Huge
today.
shout out to Zach.
Dude, it was awesome. One of the most inspiring dudes I know. Also, big thanks to Co and JP, of course, for every week. Variety broadcaster. Follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube if you'd like. Ezekiel_III. Usually starting my day around noon Pacific, Monday through, or every day but Friday. So that's it. Thank you.
There you go. Co, some shout outs.
Sure. My name is CohhCarnage. As always, big thank you to JP and Zeke. Awesome co-host. It was a lot of fun. Also, Zach is not here, but Zach is an amazing person doing amazing things in an amazing place. And a huge thank you to him for coming on. I'm going to be streaming Dark Souls 3 directly after this for a little bit. We're going to have some drinking Dark Souls. It should be fun. Dark Souls this week, more RimWorld, the Starbound patch, which hopefully will be dropping soon. You're going to see a lot of that on the channel as well. And yeah, every day, 8 a.m., twitch.tv/CohhCarnage. Hope to see you there. And thank you for watching.
What boss are you on right now in Dark Souls?
I am currently I just beat Shackle Bro, and then I beat old school Diablo Bro right after that, and now I'm working my way through Ice.
Oh, okay. How many deaths are you at?
I'm at like 30 something.
Okay.
Which, considering I'm not wearing any armor, could
bad.
be a lot worse.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm both can't wait to and dreading the Nameless King. It's gonna be interesting.
Fuck.
It's gonna be interesting.
I want to fight that fight a second time now. Now that I know all the quirks to it and just see how well I do.
And in 60 FPS without button queuing and shit. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
That's true. I need to start a Dark Souls run. Maybe we'll do that this week. Anyways, that's gonna do it for Drop Frames. You guys are not on Balance Power this weekend, but you were on Balance Power.
And can't wait to be on it again.
What? You want to talk about it?
We're coming back, and we will destroy them all.
It's gonna be awesome. Can't wait, man.
Affirmative.
There you go. So the dark side will be on this weekend, and then the light side will be in 2 weeks because we have PAX East next weekend. So There you go. Oh no, you guys aren't on West Marches. I thought you guys were going to be on West Marches this weekend, but you're not. Anyways, I'll talk about all that stuff after the show. We're going to let these guys go ahead and jump to their stream, so go check them out. We'll see you guys next week for Drop Frames, not on Wednesday, but on Friday, live from PAX East, 6:00 Eastern. Make sure to check out the stream from there. We'll see you guys then. Have a good one. Bye-bye.